Duan Cohen scratched his hands together sheepishly. Ever since the spirit crystal shop opened, I have followed Lord Shiba's orders to manage material trades. That's why I haven't had time these past 2 days to gather supplies or clear out the corrupted corpses. I have only reclaimed 3 small-scale mineral veins nearby, so I can collect resources when I get free time. Loyal and commendable. Fan Cohen nodded to himself. In the harsh environment of the Doomsday Lands, he thought, only the beast folk would offer selfless service to others. Are there any other mineral veins around your dwelling? Fan Cohen asked casually. Your Grace, there is also a medium-sized stone mine and a medium-sized copper mine. Unfortunately, my storage space is insufficient to claim them right now. Duan Cohen bowed deeply. Fan Cohen gave a slight nod. Spirit crystal mines are extremely rare at this stage. Your bear clan is fortunate to have uncovered 2 of them. Indeed, Duan Cohen grinned widely. My white bear clansman has remarkable luck, and of course, Lord Shiba is truly heaven-blessed. Does your white bear clansman possess a medium-grade dwelling now that he controls a spirit crystal mine? Fan Cohen probed. No, Duan Cohen shook his massive head. He still occupies an advanced cave. Lately, all our spirit crystal gains have been prioritized as tribute for Lord Shiba. Wow, such genuine loyalty is almost enviable. Without a medium-grade dwelling, location marking is impossible. Fan Cohen felt as though he had lost a fortune. He forced a smile. With so many devoted subordinates serving him, your lord must be nearly finished gathering resources for his large-scale dwelling upgrade. Duan Cohen lowered his head. That, I cannot say for certain, your grace. How admirable. Fan Cohen feigned sincere admiration. How many of your clansmen contribute resources to your lord? Not many. Around 200 or 300 kin. Do you hold Lord Shiba's coordinate markers? The royal nobles of our region ought to gather. I would greatly value the chance to learn from him. I do not possess his coordinates. Duan Cohen shook his head. So much for sneaking over to plunder his mines. Fan Cohen tilted his head, thinking what else he could draw out of this beast man. Duan Cohen stared suspiciously at the man before him, a faint sense of foreboding welling inside. Trembling slightly, he handed over the traded goods. Your Grace, here are the spirit cores you requested. Fan Cohen reached out, grabbed the items, and tossed them unexamined straight into his storage space. Noticing the fear creeping across Duan Cohen's features, his smile grew warmer. Which city within the Azeroth continent does your Lord Shiba reside in? He dwells in Ironblaze Sun City. Under Fan Cohen's unnerving smile, Duan Cohen's sense of unease intensified. And where is your own home? Fan Cohen kept smiling as he pressed further. Your Grace, I dwell in a remote wilderness, hardly worth mentioning. Duan Cohen's voice shook. Lord Ingguang, Lord Shiba learned of your arrival and sends his regards. Splendid, splendid. Fan Cohen waved for Duan Cohen to lower himself. Stepping forward, he placed a hand upon the beastman's shoulder and murmured softly, Give Lord Shiba my greetings in return. The words had barely left his lips when 2 spirit-mind finger strikes pierced Duan Cohen's neck. The overwhelming force tore clean through his throat. Duan Cohen's bulky frame crashed heavily onto the ground. His eyes widened in shock. He clutched his nearly severed windpipe, gurgling and gasping in agony. And so, Duan Cohen of the White Bear clan perished. Fan Cohen knelt beside the fallen corpse, observing the face twisted by mortal agony. After a long pause, he sighed gently and closed the dead beastman's eyes with his palm. Are all beast folk as loyal and upright as you? What a waste. He stood and glanced down at the miniature light screen projected from his wrist. Target slain. Would you like to absorb one of his abilities? Absorb. Acquired. Intermediate blacksmith proficiency. Well then, it seems you 2 were once trapped in endless grind of overwork. Fan Cohen walked into the bedchamber of the dwelling and laid his palm against the glowing orb resting atop the stone table. A luminous figure materialized. It was a beast-eared woman, clearly not of the Bear clan, but of the Fox clan. Behind her graceful, slender form flowed 7 bushy tails. A 7-tailed fox spirit, quite something. Why not go all the way to 9 tails? No doubt the authority held by royal nobles weighed heavily. Even within private dwellings, ordinary beast folk dared not pretend to such lofty status. It explained why nobody among the beast folk ever questioned anyone claiming royal status on the regional chat network. Common beast folk would never dare impersonate nobility. This beautiful dwelling spirit hung her head, her gaze hollow, stripped of all vitality. Initiate dwelling absorption immediately? Initiate. As absorption commenced, streams of luminous energy converged within the dwelling, striking the glowing orb. A countdown materialized. 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds, 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 58 seconds, 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 57 seconds. He would have to remain here for an entire day. Fan Kuan decided to inspect Duan Kuan's storage space. Almost empty. Apart from rations and drinking water, there were barely 1,000 units of stone and iron ore. Had everything been sent away as tribute, or had Duan Kuan suspected him all along? Fan Kuan rubbed the bridge of his nose. It looked like his alias Silver Moon Sirius Ingguang would soon be infamous among the Bear clan. So what? He had nothing to fear. This incident drove home just how immense the royal noble's influence over ordinary beast folk truly was. Even within the Doomsday Lands, clans would sacrifice their own development to pour resources into their overlords. Though this was only one faction, it foretold terrible conflict ahead. When racial wars erupted, the beast folk would possess cohesion many times greater than humanity. If the Bear clan behaved this way, other clans were likely doing the exact same thing for their respective royalty. Advanced caves and small dwellings could be built by individuals, yet upgrading from a small-scale dwelling to medium-scale, and then to large-scale dwelling required a total of 190,000 spirit crystals. An impossible burden for one lone cultivator, but trivial when split between several hundred clan members. Mere work of 2 or 3 days. The spirit crystal shop had opened on the 4th day of the apocalypse, late on the first night of the calamity. It was now early morning on the 6th day of the apocalypse. Time was running short. Previously, Fan Kuan had confidently believed that with 4 giant spirit crystal veins under his control, he would undoubtedly be the first cultivator to achieve a large-scale dwelling. Now he was not so certain. Fan Kuan opened his storage space and checked his reserves. Only 3,140 spirit crystals remained after his last upgrade. Ever since Xiao Yin had joined him, Fan Kuan had neglected to collect crystal yields from his mines. He had trusted Xiao Yin to alert him once enough resources accumulated. Now he needed to tally everything carefully. Sitting down upon the stone bed, he lowered his eyes and began his calculations. After advancing to a medium-grade dwelling on the 5th day of the apocalypse, his 3 giant spirit crystal veins produced 15,000 spirit crystals. Reclaiming an additional vein granted another 10,000 units. This morning, all 4 veins yielded 40,000 spirit crystals. In total, he held 69,140 spirit crystals. He had also obtained 3 spirit cores from Duan Kuan. He still lacked 93,860 spirit crystals for a large-scale dwelling. Tomorrow morning, another 40,000 would be mined, still leaving a deficit of 53,860 spirit crystals. Of course, once he finished absorbing this dwelling's bonuses, he would spend fewer spirit crystals purchasing spirit cores. Even saving 30,000 crystals, the earliest he could complete the upgrade would be the day after tomorrow. Absorption would finish tomorrow morning. Could he afford to wait until the day after tomorrow? There existed one desperate shortcut. Destroying 1 spirit crystal vein would instantly grant 1 million spirit crystals. Yet, that would be killing the golden goose. The gap was merely 1 day. Besides, nobody knew what rewards, if any, came with unlocking a large-scale dwelling. It was all unknown variables. Frustration gnawed at him. Enough overthinking. He could not initiate the upgrade from here anyway. He might as well cultivate. He intended to max out his starting realm's 2nd-order spiritual energy during this waiting period. Having made up his mind, Fan Kuan rose and headed for the spirit cultivation chamber. Within the cultivation chamber, where spiritual energy concentration was amplified 5-fold, empowered by his 7-star cultivation art, the small amount of spiritual energy required for starting realm's 2nd order felt trivial. Night had not yet fallen when Fan Kuan finished his practice. Brimming with surging spiritual power, he felt an urge to rush out and slaughter hordes of corrupted corpses. But that was just wishful thinking. He still needed to wait until dawn for the dwelling absorption process to conclude. Furthermore, without area of effect combat arts, his killing efficiency against swarms of corrupted corpses remained insufficient. Perhaps he would unlock a wide-range combat skill tomorrow morning. Fan Kuan mused to himself. With nothing better to occupy his time, Fan Kuan opened his status panel. Bloodline, human. Fused bloodline, Howling Moon AO clan. Realm, starting realm 2nd order. Talent, 6-star. Vitality talent, 86. Spirit talent, 65. Vitality, 2580/3870. Spiritual energy, 2925/2925. Once he returned tomorrow, he would hunt corrupted corpses, replenish his vitality gauge, and advance to starting realm 3rd order. He then reviewed his dwelling bonuses. Absorption, Enhanced spirit veins, enhanced bloodline, enhanced library. Powerful bonuses indeed. He wondered what extra surprises absorbing this dwelling might unlock. Bored, Fan Kuan decided to resume his work as an information infiltrator. He opened the regional group chat to gather intelligence on how quickly other royal nobles were accumulating resources. Scanning trade posts, he singled out nobles who had spoken publicly and opened a private chat. Fan Kuan, greetings, Brother Turtle. This is Zhang Dekai of the Lesser Turtle Clan. Alligator Turtle Li Qing. What goods do you wish to exchange? Fan Kuan, I seek no trade. I have advanced to a small grade dwelling. I wish to ask how many resources Lord Lingchen still requires. I am willing to contribute everything I gather in future. Alligator Turtle Li Qing. What an admirable young one. If only more of our turtle clan shared such clan pride. Fan Kuan, it is my duty. That is the proper mindset for a turtle clansman. Alligator Turtle Li Qing. Well said. Though I manage resource collection for Lord Lingchen, I do not know the exact figures. If you are truly devoted, message Lord Lingchen directly and deliver your tribute through trade. Fan Kuan, how do I reach Lord Lingchen in private chat? He is not speaking in public channels right now. Alligator Turtle Li Qing. Check the regional trade platform. Lord Lingchen posted a sales listing there. You can initiate private conversation from that entry. Fan Kuan, thank you, Brother Turtle. May fortune smile upon your kin. Alligator Turtle Li Qing. Fan Kuan pulled up the regional trade platform and quickly located Lord Lingchen's listing. 1 unit of wood in exchange for 10 units of spirit crystal. That price was outright extortion. He clicked to open private messaging. Lord Lingchen, are you online? This is Zhang Dekai. Brother Li Qing directed me to offer my tribute to you directly. Lord Lingchen, how much more material do you require so I may prepare accordingly? Lord Lingchen, no reply. It made sense. Royal nobles were likely out hunting corrupted corpses all day to maintain their personal strength, handling resource-related errands only at night. Someday he wanted to enjoy that kind of reverence too. He continued sending messages. Fan Kuan, greetings, Brother Lion. I am Qin Shou of the Flat Mane Lion Clan. I wish to deliver tribute to Lord Rhine. Fan Kuan, greetings, Brother Wolf. This is Bald Wolf Pangguan I. Fan Kuan, greetings, Brother Tiger. One-eyed tigers in Biao here. Fan Kuan, greetings, Brother Leopard. I am Lu Dakwai the Working Leopard. For over an hour, Fan Kuan messaged every prominent noble, including Lord Shiba of the Bear Clan. None replied. All the royals followed the same pattern, out fighting during daytime, assigning subordinates to run marketplace postings to receive tribute. Truly imposing. Fan Kuan grew determined. He wanted to become a royal noble himself. After brief thought, he decided to impersonate a noble of the Nine-Tailed Sky Fox clan. No Nine-Tailed Sky Fox representative had surfaced in this region yet, and plenty of Fox Clan beastfolk populated the chat. Glancing toward the quiet seven-tailed fox spirit standing before him, he formed a plan. If he could persuade Fox Clan kin to donate resources toward his construction costs, he might achieve his large-scale dwelling upgrade as soon as tomorrow. What alias should he use? He might as well keep the name Fan Kuan for greater credibility. In this world, nobody checked identification. If his bluff was exposed, he would simply abandon this identity. He opened the regional public chat and posted, I am Fan Kuan of the Nine-Tailed Sky Fox clan. You all have seen the 2 regional system announcements regarding me. I originally intended to cultivate in seclusion, yet other royal nobles are pushing hard. If we do not act, another clan may seize the #1 position of this region. I call upon all Fox Clan kin to stand beside me and help our clan retain our leading status. The moment the message went live, the regional chat erupted. Wow, Lord Fan Kuan has finally appeared. So Lord Fan Kuan belongs to our Sky Fox clan. Lin Gang of the White Fox clan greets your grace. Truly befitting the Nine-Tailed Sky Fox, mysterious, low profile, overwhelmingly powerful. And let us not forget, every noble of the Nine-Tailed Sky Fox clan possesses breathtaking beauty. Oh, so that was part of their reputation. Fan Kuan touched his own face. He supposed he fit that description well enough. The Sky Fox clan noble. Am I dreaming? Lin Jiao Jiao of White Fox clan salutes your grace. Yuro of Azure Fox clan greets your grace. Lu Wanner of Crimson Fox clan greets your grace. Ling Ying of Silver Fox clan greets your grace. Thousands of similar replies omitted. Fan Kuan observed the long stream of messages sent by many female Fox clan members. Other nobles' announcements drew responses mostly from gruff male warriors. The Fox clan replies were filled with many gentle-voiced kin. An interesting contrast. Still, he could not lose sight of his objective. Half an hour later, he reposted his announcement, then logged off this main account and switched to another alternate identity. Fan Kuan, fellow Fox Clan kinsman, I am Wang Defa, resource steward for Lord Fan Kuan. All private matters regarding Lord Fan Kuan may be handled through me. Right after sending this post, he logged off again and cycled through multiple fake accounts to create hype. I, Lin Dong of White Fox Clan, vow to offer all my resources for Lord Fan Kuan and our Fox Clan. I, Lin Shi of White Fox Clan, vow to offer all my resources for Lord Fan Kuan and our Fox Clan. I, Lin Nan of White Fox Clan, vow to offer all my resources for Lord Fan Kuan and our Fox Clan. I, Lin Bei of White Fox Clan, vow to offer all my resources for Lord Fan Kuan and our Fox Clan. These fabricated posts immediately flooded Wang Defa's private message inbox. Wang Defa, is Lord Fan Kuan gathering resources to compete for the region's top rank? Wang Defa, does Lord Fan Kuan accept only spirit crystals or basic materials as well? I just exchanged 60 spirit crystals. How do I make my offering to Lord Fan Kuan? Wang Defa, have you seen Lord Fan Kuan in person? Is he truly as magnificent as rumored? Wang Defa, how old might Lord Fan Kuan be? The questions quickly drifted away from resource matters. Overwhelmed by the flood of private messages, Fan Kuan replied uniformly through the Wang Defa account. Lord Fan Kuan has created a sales listing on the trade platform. Everyone may contribute their offerings there or leave private messages directly for Lord Fan Kuan. Moments after the notice went out, Fan Kuan's main inbox exploded with incoming tributes. Lord Fan Kuan, Lin Gang of White Fox Clan presents 50 spirit crystals. Lord Fan Kuan, Rower of Azure Fox Clan presents 70 spirit crystals. Lord Fan Kuan, Wanner of Fire Fox Clan presents 100 spirit crystals. Wonderful, what devoted foxkin. Fan Kuan leaned close to the light screen, grinning widely as spirit crystals poured in batches of dozens and hundreds. Gathering tribute was far easier than earning fame among mortals. He needed no public appearance, no performances, and still received voluntary offerings. It was a shame the chat system supported no video recording. Otherwise, he would gladly record a short clip to thank all these Fox Clan followers. Yet Fan Kuan maintained a cold, dignified bearing expected of royalty. He did not send a single reply to the countless private messages. Let them offer their devotion while he observed quietly. Fan Kuan had underestimated how deeply common beast folk revered royal nobles. On the Azeroth continent, royals who completed shapeshift and spirit ascension transcended ordinary beast kind, standing close to divine status. Common beast folk could only observe them from afar, never permitted close contact, let alone direct conversation. Other regional nobles collected tribute more slowly because they had not made themselves accessible to their subjects. They had only tasked a few trusted clansmen to manage the crowdfunding, while their leaders never spoke a single word about it publicly. If they had acted as shamelessly as Fan Kuan and shouted openly across the network, they would long ago have gathered enough resources for advancement. There was another factor at play. The Nine-Tailed Sky Fox clan had always been the most mysterious among royal clans. Unlike the Dark Gold Bear clan, Silvermoon Wolf clan, and Golden Lion clan, they were not renowned for raw combat power. The clan kept a low profile. On the rare occasions they appeared, they would merely grace the world with fleeting glimpses of their peerless beauty. That was why Fan Kuan's public appearance had blown up the online community. With time on his hands, Fan Kuan fully embraced the role of an online commentator. Switching between countless alternate accounts, he stirred up discussions across public channels and private messages. As dusk fell, Fan Kuan posted a message to the regional group chat under his real identity, sending his followers enthusiasm soaring to new heights. By deep night, spirit crystal earnings had surpassed 40,000. Elsewhere, Shiba returned to his cave after a full day of training. He opened his status panel, Bloodline, Dark Gold Bear Clan Royal, Rank, Initiate Realm 2nd Order, Talent, 7-star, Vitality Aptitude, 154, Spirit Aptitude, 10, Vitality, 5870/6930, Spirit Power, 170/450. Satisfied with his stats, Shiba nodded. At this pace, he would break through to Initiate Realm 3rd Order by tomorrow morning. With extra effort, he might even reach Initiate Realm 4th Order by tomorrow night. Shiba firmly believed royal clans standing atop the world ought to devote themselves to cultivation. Only overwhelming individual strength could secure a clan's enduring prosperity. Resource gathering ought to be left to ordinary clansfolk. Even after stumbling upon a medium-sized spirit crystal mine on the outskirts, he only spent half a day harvesting from it. Most of his time was spent hunting rotting corpses. He chewed some dried meat to sate his hunger and was about to enter his spirit cultivation chamber when he suddenly remembered he had yet to check today's spirit crystal income. Thanks to Duan Kuan of the White Bear clan and his cave's special attribute, Shiba's spirit crystal gains had surged these past 2 days. Combined with scattered contributions from ordinary clansmen, he was merely over 20,000 spirit crystals short of upgrading to a large-scale cave. If things went well tonight, he might complete the cave upgrade by early tomorrow. Brimming with anticipation, he opened the private message sent by Duan Kuan. Lord Shiba, this is Duan Kuan. Yin Guang of the Silver Moon Wolf clan wishes to trade a miniature spirit crystal mine for spirit power cores. Lord Shiba, I have reached an agreement with Lord Yin Guang of the Wolf clan. 3 spirit power cores in exchange for his miniature spirit crystal mine. I have run the calculations. If I dedicate extra time mining spirit crystals, this deal will definitely turn a profit. Lord Shiba, Lord Yin Guang says he will arrive shortly for the trade. Could there be any trouble? My lord, Yin Guang has arrived. I am going to greet him now. I will report back immediately once the trade concludes. That was where the messages cut off. Shiba twisted his neck in confusion and sent a private reply. Duan Kuan, how is the trade going? How many spirit crystals have we earned today? 10 minutes slipped by with no response. Shiba's brows drew tight, and his shattered gold pupils narrowed. Duan Kuan, this is Shiba. Reply at once. Another 10 minutes passed. Receiving no answer, Shiba realized something terrible must have happened. He messaged several White Bear clansmen, all of whom replied they had lost contact with Duan Kuan since that morning. Boom. Shiba slammed his fist against the stone table, his voice dropping to a low growl. Silver Moon Wolf's Yin Guang. Fan Kuan had been preparing to send another message in the regional group chat to keep Fox clan members engaged late into the night when a new notification popped up. I am Shiba of the Dark Gold Bear clan. Yin Guang of the Silver Moon Wolf clan. Show yourself. Oh, here comes the retaliation. Talk about slow reaction. Only just noticing your subordinate is gone at this hour. Fan Kuan mentally pulled up a stool and settled in to watch the drama unfold. I am Shiba of the Dark Gold Bear clan. Yin Guang of the Silver Moon Wolf clan. Show yourself. Still no reply. Shiba sent another message. Yin Guang, do you think hiding will let you get away with what you have done? The group chat fell dead silent. No ordinary creature dared to interject while a royal lord raged. Even all wolf clan members within the region went quiet. Yin Guang, have you no shred of royal honor? You dare act, yet dare not own up. 5 more minutes passed before someone finally replied. I am Yin Jiao of the Silver Moon Wolf clan. To my knowledge, there are no other wolf clan royals in this region, let alone one named Yin Guang. So someone from your wolf clan finally speaks up. I care not how many royals your clan has here. I know Yin Guang exists. He murdered one of my clansmen and stole my spirit power cores today. Insolence. Shiba, do not make baseless accusations. I have never heard of this Yin Guang. Furthermore, why would our Silver Moon Wolf clan stoop to robbing your spirit power cores? Could the final messages my clansman sent before death be false? Would he fail to recognize a royal? Who in this region could impersonate a royal? And who would dare? No one would dare impersonate royalty. Yet this incident was not our doing. When our wolf clan takes action, we own our deeds openly. We would admit it if we robbed you. Neither may you falsely accuse us, not even the Bear clan. Very well. If you refuse to acknowledge it, do not blame me for moving against your wolf clan from this day onward. Shiba, you dare. Would you ignite a war between our 2 clans? Humph. We shall see. Once more, the group chat lapsed into stillness. The quarrel was over. Fan Kuan mentally folded away his stool, unsatisfied. Interesting. He had accidentally stoked conflict between the bear and wolf clans. This trick might prove useful someday. Tensions ran high in the regional chat, so Fan Kuan decided not to post further messages. He opened his private messages and discovered the top tipper for the day was a young lady from the Silver Fox clan. Bored, he tapped open her chat window. Spirit crystals received. Thank you. His message was answered instantly. Ling Ying. Ah, Lord Fan Kuan. Ling Ying of the Silver Fox clan greets you. Fan Kuan, how have you fared since arriving in the Doomsday Lands? Ling Ying, thank you for your concern, my lord. I am managing well and have gradually adapted to life here. Fan Kuan, stay safe. Work toward upgrading your cave. Ling Ying, thank you, my lord. You are far too considerate toward us. Don't thank me. I ought to be thanking you. Just as Fan Kuan prepared to end the conversation, the young lady sent another message. Ling Ying, my lord, I do not plan to upgrade my cave for the time being. I only retain some basic resources, which I will convert straight into spirit crystals and send to you. Huh, really? Fan Kuan tilted his head. Soon 363 units of spirit crystals arrived, complete with an oddly specific remainder. I only meant to return thanks. I never expected more spirit crystals. Still, If she wished to interact like this, he was happy to keep chatting for hours. Refreshing his spirits, Fan Kuan opened private conversations with every young lady who had tipped him that day. Dawn of the 7th Doomsday Day. Having stayed up all night conversing with Fox clan members, Fan Kuan stood, stretched his limbs, and exhaled deeply. Though physically weary, his spirit burned bright. Overnight, gifts from the young ladies alone had netted him 30,000 spirit crystals, equal to the yield of 3 giant spirit crystal mines. No wonder everyone back on Blue Earth dreamed of being an internet celebrity. The income was absurd. As the countdown hit 0, the engulfment process concluded, and the cave collapsed. Fan Kuan glanced over the wreckage, unfurled his positioning teleport scroll, and returned to his own dwelling. Entering his bedchamber, he told Xiao Yin to activate his newly acquired Cave Attribute. Cave Attribute, Premium Discount. You gain discounted pricing for ordinary goods across all Doomsday shops. Base discount is 10% off. With each cave level up, discount improves. 15% off, 20% off, down to a maximum 50% off. Just as he recalled, detected host already possesses the Engulf Attribute. Cave Attribute Premium Discount has been enhanced. Cave Attribute, Premium Discount enhanced. You gain discounted pricing for ordinary goods across all Doomsday shops. Base discount is 10% off. With each cave level up, discount improves. 15% off, 20% off, down to a maximum 50% off. Additionally, starting from the day this attribute is obtained, once every 30 days you may acquire one item completely free of charge. Whoa, this boosted attribute was overpowered. A free item every 30 days. He would absolutely pick the most expensive thing available when the time came. Sadly, nothing high value was listed in the Spirit Crystal shop right now. He could wait. Upgrading to a large-scale cave would unlock the secret manual section, which ought to hold fine treasures. Speaking of secret manuals, Fan Kuan realized he had not studied today's reward. He turned toward Xiao Yin. Xiao Yin, give me today's secret manual. Fan Kuan tapped the glowing orb. 4-star combat art, Thunderstrike Fist. Strikes like thunder, fists pierce the firmament. Passable. After seeing a 7-star cultivation art the previous day, his standards had risen, and 4-star techniques felt underwhelming. Still, it outperformed his old 2-star art, Shatter Metal Fist. Once he finished learning the combat art, Fan Kuan moved on to what he looked forward to most, upgrading his cave. Thanks to premium discount, purchasing spirit power cores now cost him 1,500 fewer spirit crystals apiece. With his current stock, he held more than enough resources for the upgrade. Xiao Yin, upgrade the cave. A deafening roar erupted. The ground surged, stone walls rose skyward, and the cave underwent a grand transformation into a palace-like structure. Half an hour later, the upgrade finished. Fan Kuan stared up at his nearly 20-meter-tall dwelling, momentarily lost for words. This was unbelievably luxurious. It was no mere cave. It was a true Demon Lord's palace. As Fan Kuan prepared to examine all new facilities, the familiar system announcement chimed. Regional announcement. Cultivator Fan Kuan has become the first in this region to obtain a large-scale cave. Rewards. Regional leyline distribution map. Cave relocation scroll. Faction token. While Fan Kuan inspected his rewards, the regional chat exploded. Congratulations Lord Fan Kuan for claiming yet another regional first. All hail Lord Fan Kuan. Wanner of the Firefox clan bows. All hail Lord Fan Kuan. Inger of the Silver Fox clan bows. 80,000 additional messages omitted. Ever since Fan Kuan rose to prominence, messages posted by female beastfolk across the region had skyrocketed. Meanwhile, deprived of Duan Kuan's spirit crystal supply, Shiba traveled at dawn to the medium-sized spirit crystal mine he had discovered and began mining personally. The mine sat at a canyon mouth, more than 10 li away from his cave, uncovered while he cleared rotting corpses. As he mined, he anxiously assigned tasks to his Bear Clan subordinates to secure spirit crystal income. He was only 5,000 units short of his goal when the regional system announcement boomed across the area. Shiba threw back his head and roared in rage. What was this regional leyline distribution map? Fan Kuan pulled the parchment from his storage space and studied it intently. As the map unfurled, his eyes lit up. He muttered to himself, "This is a massive windfall." The parchment marked locations where spiritual energy converged, known as spirit energy nodes. If a cave was built atop one of these nodes, spiritual energy density within would surge, greatly benefiting cultivation, spirit plant growth, and livestock rearing. Furthermore, spirit crystal mines forming near nodes were more numerous and higher grade than those elsewhere. Most critically, only 9 large-scale and 18 small-scale spirit energy nodes existed across the entire region, each varying in quality. Holding this map let Fan Kuan seize the finest locations before anyone else. Thank goodness he had finished the large-scale cave upgrade first. Fan Kuan turned his gaze to his second reward, the cave relocation scroll. Excellent, perfectly matched rewards. He could move home whenever he wanted. However, he could not relocate today. He remembered after midnight tonight, Lingshan of the Turtle Clan would refresh his divination ability. Should the diviner pinpoint his cave coordinates, he could use this scroll to relocate and escape danger flawlessly. Last of his 3 rewards was the faction token. Upon activation, you may establish a faction and unlock the faction store. Founding a faction, Fan Kuan rubbed the cool black token between his fingers, narrowing his eyes as he envisioned possibilities. Vast territories, countless subjects, crowds greeting him wherever he went. Ahem. It would also carry heavy responsibilities. One step at a time. First, he would confirm all benefits from his upgraded cave. Xiaoyin, has the spirit crystal mine upgraded? Master, the giant spirit crystal mine has advanced to a super spirit crystal mine. It passively yields 50,000 spirit crystals per day. If destroyed, it grants a one-time payout of 500,000 spirit crystals. Incredible. Passive income now reached 200,000 spirit crystals daily. Coupled with premium discount, Fan Kuan felt like shouting. Who can compete with me? Xiaoyin, how many resources are needed for the next cave upgrade? Fan Kuan asked in wealthy confidence. Master, the next stage advances to a small-scale city. Requirements: 1 million units timber, 3 million units stone, 1 million units iron ore, 500,000 units copper ore, 500 spirit power cores, 1,000 affiliated caves under your faction, and 1 fully charged city core. Wow. Altogether, those resources would cost over 200,000 spirit crystals. It seemed he still needed to work hard to earn more. What does faction scale mean? Master, to upgrade into a small-scale city, you must establish your own faction. You need to command at least 1,000 subordinate caves to satisfy the requirement. So that was how it worked. Made sense. You could not build a city with no followers at all. Fan Kuan stroked his chin, thinking he would need to keep impersonating royalty going forward. Such steep upgrade requirements meant the vast majority of beast folk would never advance their shelters to city status, doomed to become vassals of others. What about a fully charged city core? Can I purchase one directly from shops? Master, city cores are not sold in shops. You and your subordinates must infuse a blank city core with vitality harvested via vitality orbs. Xiaoyin pointed toward a newly appeared stone platform in the center of the bedchamber. Resting on the platform was an oval white stone orb with a glossy, polished surface. Fan Kuan leaned forward for a closer look. This orb is the city core? What happens once it is fully charged? After upgrading to a small-scale city, this orb functions as the city's central energy hub and transforms into a spirit-raising pool. Xiaoyin bowed. A spirit-raising pool. Fan Kuan stood upright. The pool royal beast folk use for shape-shifting and spiritual ascension? Precisely, Master. A magnificent treasure. Fan Kuan leaned in to observe it once more. After a moment he asked, I have heard royal beast folk can only take human form after shape-shifting within a spirit-raising pool. Does this ritual elevate their bloodline rank as well? It does. Ordinary royal beast folk hold 6-star bloodlines. Only by completing shape-shifting and spiritual ascension within the pool can they attain true 7-star royal bloodline rank. 7-star royal bloodline. Fan Kuan pondered for a moment, then glanced deeply at Xiaoyin. This young maid knew everything, yet would never volunteer information or break rules to speak ahead of time. What are vitality orbs? Fan Kuan raised an eyebrow. They are basic craftable items unlocked once a faction is founded. I must establish a faction first. Yes, Master. Fan Kuan looked down at the faction token in his grasp and selected Activate. Please name your faction. The name will be announced across the entire region upon confirmation. Oh no, a public regional broadcast. Normally that would be wonderful, but a diviner would try to expose his location tonight. Revealing his faction name now would hand clues straight to his enemy. If his faction name got divined tonight, recruitment would grow far harder later on. Better play it safe. He would hold off until tomorrow. Xiaoyin, advance my bloodline. As you wish, Master. Initiating host bloodline scan. Bloodline. Human. Fused bloodline. Howling Moon AO clan. Rank. Initiate realm 2nd order. Talent. 6-star. Vitality aptitude. 86. Spirit aptitude. 65. Vitality. 2580/3870. Spirit power. 2925/2925. Detected host is human. The native human bloodline is inherently frail and cannot be upgraded. Upgrade will instead boost spirit aptitude. A stream of white light poured into his body, persisting far longer than previous upgrades. Presently, talent elevated by 1 star. Bloodline. Human Royal. Fused Bloodline. Howling Moon AO Clan. Rank. Initiate Realm 2nd Order. Talent. 7 star. Vitality Aptitude. 86. Spirit Aptitude. 108. Vitality. 2580/3870. Spirit Power. 2925/4860. Human Royal? Fan Kuan stared at his updated status panel in undisguised surprise. A king's suffix attached to the human bloodline. Could this be the fabled human royal bloodline? Also, shouldn't a 7-star talent correspond to a spirit power aptitude of around 70-something? Why has it shot all the way past 100? Could it be 7-star is a critical threshold? Those who reach this talent are royal members of their race, receiving a 50% boost to their stats. If so, the gap between 6-star and 7-star becomes enormous. At the same initial realm 2nd stage, a 6-star talent yields a spirit power cap of just over 2,900, yet a 7-star talent leaps straight to 4,800. Truly terrifying. It seems only upon crossing into 7-star talent can one truly be called a legendary monstrous genius. Does the same rule apply to the royal bloodlines of the beast clans? Detected. Host body contains Howling Moon AO clan bloodline. Bloodline talent elevated by 1 rank. Crimson light surged into his body. Howling Moon AO bloodline upgraded to Heavenly Ho bloodline. Bloodline talent upgrade complete. Bloodline. Human Royal Fused Bloodline. Heavenly Ho Clan Realm. Initial Realm 2nd Stage Talent. 7-star Vitality Aptitude. 98 Spirit Power Aptitude. 108 Vitality. 2580/4410 Spirit Power. 2925/4860. The Heavenly Ho clan was a 6-star beast clan bloodline, and the vitality gain it brought was fairly ordinary. It appeared that truly earth-shattering transformations only took place upon breaking through to 7-star. What a pity. Back when he obtained the hyena bloodline, his human race talent had already advanced once. Otherwise, this beast clan talent could also have ascended to royal rank. Now it was time to claim the benefits brought by his cave's new attributes, a single free purchase from the Spirit Crystal Shop. Fan Kuan rubbed his hands together in anticipation. He opened the newly unlocked page of the Spirit Crystal Shop, the manuals section. Good heavens, manuals ranging from 1-star all the way to 9-star were on sale, though the price gap was absolutely staggering. 1-star manual, 200 spirit crystals. 2-star manual, 1,000 spirit crystals. 3-star manual, 5,000 spirit crystals. 4-star manual, 10,000 spirit crystals. 5-star manual, 30,000 spirit crystals. 6-star manual, 100,000 spirit crystals. 7-star manual, 2 million spirit crystals. 8-star manual, 30 million spirit crystals. 9-star manual, 100 million spirit crystals. Even Fan Kuan, who owned 4 super-large spirit crystal mines, twitched at the corners of his mouth upon seeing the prices for manuals above 6-star. Unfortunately, the shop's discount attribute only applied to ordinary supplies. High-grade goods, such as manuals, were excluded. That made sense. 7-star manuals counted as high-order treasures. Artifacts of such caliber were likely unseen by anyone in the entire region at present. 6 days into the apocalypse, his library attribute had only yielded a single 7-star cultivation technique. Without hesitation, Fan Kuan tapped open the 9-star manual page. 9-star cultivation technique. Azure Sky Divine Invocation Art 9-star combat skill. Burning Heaven Blaze 9-star combat skill. Thunderbolt Fist 9-star movement skill. Startling Swiftness. Whoa, more than 29-star manuals in total. There were cultivation techniques, overpowered offensive combat skills, and movement arts, all representing the absolute pinnacle of this world. Fan Kuan found himself in a dilemma. As an adult from Blue Planet, he did not want to choose. He wanted everything. Yet that could only ever happen in his dreams. Which one should he pick? Fan Kuan rested his chin in his hand and pondered. A 9-star cultivation technique sounded appealing. It would boost both spirit power cultivation speed and spirit power regeneration. But he had only just acquired a 7-star cultivation technique the previous day. Swapping it out now would be redundant. Furthermore, he could only cultivate spirit power at night in his current state. No matter how fast a technique accelerated cultivation, he could not practice non-stop. He needed to keep his vitality and spirit power balanced. 9-star offensive combat skills were worth considering, especially Burning Heaven Blaze, an area of attack skill that could drastically speed up monster hunting. Yet Fan Kuan wondered whether his current trivial cultivation base of Initial Realm Second Stage possessed enough spirit power to sustain such a massive ultimate skill. After a moment of deliberation, Fan Kuan settled on a 9-star movement skill. In this unknown apocalyptic world, being able to run well meant surviving longer, a thoroughly practical advantage. Fan Kuan clicked purchase. A brilliant golden light orb materialized in his palm. 9-star movement skill, startling swiftness. A fleeting flash, an instantaneous bound. None under heaven may track you, neither gods nor ghosts. Whoa, just reading the description told him this skill was extraordinary. Fan Kuan immediately selected to learn it and began testing its capabilities. Golden light flickered beneath his feet. In an instant, he teleported straight from his bedroom to the cave entrance. This was genuine short-range teleportation. More golden halos flashed as Fan Kuan's figure appeared across different spots within his cavernous state. After 7 consecutive teleports, Fan Kuan halted, brimming with excitement. Truly worthy of being a 9-star skill. Aside from a roughly 1-second recovery lag upon landing, the whole sequence flows almost seamlessly. He lifted his gaze toward the distant mining zone. The next moment, he had already appeared among the mines. Wow, that leap had spanned at least 300 meters. Startling swiftness was overwhelmingly powerful. That marked the maximum teleport distance he could achieve at his current stage. Teleportation consumed massive amounts of spirit power and cost scaled with distance. That final jump alone drained 500 points of his spirit power. He would need to accelerate his cultivation progress. It would be embarrassing to own supreme combat arts yet lack the energy to use them. Fan Kuan inspected the changes within his dwelling. He experienced firsthand his transformed estate, now stretching across nearly 3 square kilometers. It could no longer rightly be called a cave. It was an underground palace. Calming his surging emotions, Fan Kuan entered the spirit cultivation chamber to restore his spirit power. After the upgrade, spiritual energy concentration inside the chamber had risen once more, reaching roughly 7 times the density of the outside world. It took less than 10 minutes for Fan Kuan to fully replenish his expended spirit power. He donned his purple scale armor and headed out to exterminate the corrupted corpses. The moment he pushed open the stone gate, 2 mantis monsters stood motionless right outside the doorway. What was this? Fan Kuan was surprised. Had monsters gathered outside while he was gone for a day? The mantis monsters showed no courtesy. Spotting a living being emerge, they brandished their bladed forelimbs and lunged straight at Fan Kuan. Perfect timing. Golden light flashed under Fan Kuan's feet, placing him beside one of the mantises. His spirit locust finger struck true, piercing the creature's brain. It collapsed lifelessly. The second mantis whirled around and brought its blade crashing down. Fan Kuan accelerated, slipping past the edge of its strike, and smashed Thunderbolt Fist directly into its skull. Boom! Its skull shattered, gore splattering outward. Gray-black energy flowed into Fan Kuan, granting him 100 vitality points. A blue 2-star light orb also dropped, medium spirit power restoration potion. Well, would you look at that? Free loot delivered right to my door first thing in the morning. Fan Kuan grabbed each mantis by the leg and tossed their corpses outside the entrance. Instead of heading toward the cave filled with corrupted corpses he had discovered previously, Fan Kuan struck out in a new direction. He wanted to explore the surrounding terrain before relocating, hoping he might stumble across another spirit crystal mine. Whether because he had not cleared monsters for a full day, or because the apocalypse intensified, more and more corrupted corpses were crawling up from underground. Beside a stream within a wooded area, Fan Kuan spotted large numbers of ordinary corrupted corpses standing listlessly. Every so often, ghost whelps or mantis monsters would also appear. At his current combat strength, these creatures posed no threat whatsoever. Even if surrounded by multiple minor bosses, he could simply teleport away using startling swiftness. After traveling for roughly an hour, Fan Kuan climbed to the crest of a hill. He was about to eat a couple of peaches to rest when the sight unfolding before him made even this 3-time regional rank 1 expert draw a sharp breath. At the foot of the opposite hill slope lay a cave. Massive hordes of corrupted corpses crowded all around it. Fan Kuan leaped atop a tall tree and observed intently. Ordinary corrupted corpses packed the outer ring. 20-odd ghost whelps and mantis monsters occupied the inner circle. Standing guard right before the low cave mouth were 2 3-meter-tall black-furred ape monsters. Hiss! What was going on here? Had monsters seized this cave? Fan Kuan was confused. Even if monsters had wiped out whoever dwelt there overnight, they ought to withdraw during daylight. Why remain such huge swarms lingering here? Could it be? Fan Kuan's eyes lit up. Some precious treasure inside the cave was drawing them. Fan Kuan pressed his lips together and thought it over. That had to be it. There was no other reason for hordes of corrupted corpses to gather in broad daylight, especially alongside these previously unseen black-furred ape monsters. He glanced at the sun. It was shortly past noon. He then checked his status panel. Vitality, 3610/4410 spirit power, 2760/4860. Over 3,000 vitality points. He would go for it. With startling swiftness as his escape fallback, he could flee even if the fight turned against him. Having made up his mind, Fan Kuan jumped down from the tree. He crouched low and circled stealthily around the far side of the slope. Once within range, Fan Kuan burst out from cover. He unleashed Spirit Locust Finger toward two outer ring corrupted corpses. The piercing attack tore through the heads of the first two foes, continuing onward to pierce two more. For corrupted corpses crumpled to the ground. Roar. The deaths exposed Fan Kuan's position. Every stationary corrupted corpse twisted its head toward him, then roared and charged forward. Fan Kuan retreated backward, firing off successive Spirit Locust Finger strikes. One corrupted corpse after another fell. The mantis monsters behind the horde flew into a rage. They shoved aside the corpses blocking their path, pushed to the front of the mob, and pounced toward Fan Kuan with whirring bladed limbs. Faced with such overwhelming numbers, Fan Kuan dared not grow overconfident. He activated startling swiftness, carefully maintaining distance from the horde. This 9-star movement skill enabled not just teleportation, but also sustained high-speed movement with moderate spirit power expenditure. Even when leaping with full strength, the 12 mantis monsters could not close the gap between themselves and Fan Kuan. The leading mantises fell one after another under Spirit Locust Finger strikes. Though their defenses exceeded ordinary corrupted corpses, they could not survive direct shots to the head. Before long, every mantis monster lay dead on the ground. Fan Kuan moved like a nimble marksman, continuing to mow down corrupted corpses. Soon all ordinary corrupted corpses were eliminated. Only 10 ghost whelps still chased relentlessly behind him. Their short limbs limited their speed, and they too were soon slain. Having disposed of all pursuing monsters, Fan Kuan approached the cave entrance. The two black-furred ape monsters still stood guard there, strengthening his conviction that treasure lay within. Sensing his approach, they did not immediately attack. Instead, they hunched over and issued deep, threatening growls. They could restrain their innate urge to attack. Truly higher-tier bosses. Fan Kuan smirked and launched a Spirit Locust Finger at one of them. The ape raised its arm to block. The force pierced clean through its thick limb, opening a bleeding wound. Roar. Agony drove it mad. It leaped straight for Fan Kuan. The second ape cast nervous glances back toward the cave interior, yet held its ground, continuing to stand sentinel. These ape bosses were formidable. Fan Kuan's Spirit Locust Finger strikes kept getting blocked by their arms, yet this only delayed their demise. After more than a dozen hits, one ape's arm snapped, and a projectile pierced its skull. Fan Kuan advanced toward the cave. The remaining ape boss snarled anxiously toward the dark opening, behaving like a loyal guard dog. 10 more Spirit Locust Finger strikes later, the final black-furred ape collapsed. Judging by the last ape's behavior, there had to be another boss deeper inside. Fan Kuan drank 2 spirit power restoration potions and stepped cautiously toward the cave with grave focus. Reaching the entrance, he poked a branch through the overgrown grass to peer inside. Suddenly, a deathly pale face with pitch-black, glowing eyes loomed right in front of him. Whoa! Fan Kuan teleported backward in alarm while firing a Spirit Locust Finger straight at the monster's face. A shriek echoed, and the creature retreated deeper into the cave. Silence emanated from the opening. Fan Kuan slowly edged forward again. This intermediate-grade cave had a narrow entrance, and light barely penetrated the interior. Even standing right at the mouth, Fan Kuan could not clearly see what lay within. What was he supposed to do now? He refused to recklessly teleport straight inside, fearing he might be swarmed by multiple foes. It looked like demolition work was in order. Fan Kuan climbed above the cave mouth and began smashing the surrounding rock with his fists. Bang, bang, bang. As the entrance widened, monster roars grew more frantic, and details of the inner cavern gradually came into view. Once the opening stretched to nearly 2 meters across, Fan Kuan could see everything within. A monster resembling a ghost bride stood guard beside 2 massive black eggs. Strangely, 6 bushy foxtails trailed behind its body. One egg was already empty. The other contained a young fox-like being with a childlike face. Fan Kuan observed, reminded of parasitic creatures he had seen in old films. So that explained everything. All those outside monsters had been protecting this ghost bride while it carried out its parasitic process. Should he intervene? While Fan Kuan hesitated, the young fox creature stirred, roused by daylight streaming through the expanded entrance. It looked around in dazed confusion. Upon spotting the ghost bride beside it, it burst into loud cries. Seeing the ghost bride raise its hand to strike the crying creature, Fan Kuan reacted instantly, teleporting into the cavern. Boom! Thunderbolt fist slammed into the ghost bride, sending it flying away from the young fox, like being. The ghost bride scrambled back to its feet. Instead of charging at Fan Kuan like ordinary monsters, it retreated to a corner and roared furiously. Had it grown weak after hatching its eggs? Fan Kuan showed no mercy. Several successive spirit, locust finger strikes struck home, and the ghost bride crumpled to the ground. Until its final breath, its gaze remained fixed on the giant eggs. A red light orb dropped from its corpse. Wow, a 2-star orb. That was the highest ranked bloodline orb Fan Kuan had yet found. He hurried over and picked it up excitedly. 3-star red-tailed fox blood essence. A fox clan bloodline. Fan Kuan glanced toward the teary-eyed young fox-like creature. Hey, don't look at me like that, Fan Kuan said softly. Don't be afraid. I will get you out of here. He tore apart the silken strands wrapping the egg and lifted the young fox, like being free. Setting it down on the stone ground, the creature huddled weakly. Its almond-shaped eyes studied Fan Kuan carefully. Then a soft, tender voice spoke. Are you a royal clan adult? Fan Kuan fell silent for a moment. Yes, I am of royal blood. After rescuing the young fox, like being, Fan Kuan wasted no time heading back. He dared not linger there to attempt absorbing the blood essence. Left unprotected, this intermediate cave would become extremely dangerous once night fell. On the journey back, Fan Kuan held the young creature in his arms and traveled using startling swiftness. Exhausted and hungry, it quickly fell asleep against his shoulder. Upon returning to his cavern estate, Fan Kuan laid the young being gently onto his stone bed. Only then could he examine it properly. It bore a striking resemblance to a human girl. The only obvious differences were a pair of small pointed fox ears atop its head and a single tail behind its back. True to the fox clan's innate gift, its features were soft and lovely. Staring at the sleeping young fox being, Fan Kuan let out a long sigh. What have I gotten myself into? I ended up saving a young beast clan member. He already had enough troubles, being marked as a traitor among the beast clans. Taking this creature in complicated things further. Fan Kuan shook his head. He covered the young being with a blanket and let it rest in his bedroom. Then he proceeded to the library within his estate to sort through his day's spoils. The library was a new facility unlocked upon upgrading to a large-scale cavern estate. Unlike Blue Planet libraries filled with rows of shelves, its stone walls featured many recessed square niches. Each niche was covered by a light barrier. Once a manual was placed inside, the estate's auxiliary intelligence Xiao-Yin could retrieve and reference it. Fan Kuan took out more than 100 light orbs he had collected. Though not as numerous as previous hauls, half had dropped from minor bosses, yielding a relatively high proportion of black and purple orbs. These low-grade pieces of equipment and manuals no longer interested Fan Kuan. He instructed Xiao-Yin to store them for later sale in a faction shop once he established his own force. He told Xiao-Yin to place all other resource orbs throughout different zones of the estate. Food supplies and potions went straight into his spacious storage dimension. With his loot sorted, Fan Kuan entered the spirit cultivation chamber to begin his night-time cultivation. His vitality had already far surpassed the second stage threshold. If he maxed out his remaining 2,000 spirit power points tonight, he would advance to initial realm third stage. Combining his 7-star cultivation technique with the 7-fold spiritual energy density of the spirit cultivation chamber, Fan Kuan finished saturating his spirit power by midnight. As tremors emanated from his dantian, the once orderly spiritual energy turned violent. His internal organs and bones were being enhanced in unison. After a short while, his aura steadied. Bloodline, human royal fused bloodline. Heavenly Ho clan realm. Initiation realm 3rd order talent. 7-star vitality talent. 98 spirit talent. 108 vitality. 4410/66 15 spiritual energy. 4860/7290. Nice. The upper limits of his vitality and spiritual energy had risen by 50% once more. Looking at his status panel, Fan Kuan felt his greater potential, and his will to survive grew stronger. Gazing at his nearly 5 1,000-point vitality and spiritual energy. Fan Cohen thought he could try exploring the corrupted corpse cavern. He stood and stretched his muscles. Suddenly, he remembered the young fox resting in his bedroom. He wondered if she had woken up. He peeked through the bedroom doorway. The little fox lay curled beneath brocade covers, sound asleep. From time to time her brows knitted, and fear flickered across her delicate features. Seeing she still slumbered, Fan Kuan returned to his spirit cultivation chamber. He had intended to resume cultivating spiritual energy at once, yet he knew he would build a faction soon and needed to stay in touch with his followers. He also wanted to check whether hostile messages about him would surface in the group chat after midnight. Inside a cave dwelling beside a lake, Ling Chun stared at information yielded by divine divination, lost in deep thought with a furrowed brow. Alien races within this region will appear in the guise of beastkin royalty. Royalty? How could that possibly be? Beads of sweat formed on Ling Chen's forehead. Royalty were the leaders of the beastkin. How could an alien pass themselves off as royalty? Ling Chun rose to his full height and paced within his cave. The intruder was not beastkin, yet could appear as royalty. Could this alien possess shape-shifting abilities? But Ling Chun shook his head. All living beings had arrived in the Doomsday Lands only a few days prior. This world was vast. The alien would have had no chance to encounter true royalty to mimic their appearance. Even if they had, the royalty would either have slain them on the spot or broadcast the news across the regional chat. No such reports had appeared. Ling Chun held great faith in the combat power of royalty. As the leaders of the valiant beastkin, every royal commanded Earth, shattering strength. Could it be that the alien already bore a striking resemblance to royalty? Ling Chun lifted his head sharply as a possibility dawned on him. It was an ancient legend passed down across eons on the Azeroth continent. When beastkin royalty underwent ascension through transformation, they took on the form of a race known as humans. Born gifted in manipulating spiritual energy, humans were the darlings of heaven and spirits of all creation. Beastkin royalty took human form to sharpen their perception of the world's spiritual energy, compensating for their innate flaw, overwhelming vitality paired with insufficient spiritual power. The legend also carried a stern warning. Humans were crafty, greedy, and unprincipled. If this intruder was human, things would become troublesome. Ling Chen's eyes darkened, his expression grave. At that moment, a private message arrived on the light screen that had remained connected. Shiba, any results? Ling Chen, yes. Divination foretells the alien will appear wearing the guise of royalty. Shiba, royalty? Impossible. Outsiders cannot impersonate royalty. Their features are entirely different from ours. Ling Chun, what if the alien is human? Shiba, human? That race spoken of only in legend? Ling Chun, highly plausible. Do you recall the divine oracle from the beast god 3 days before we entered the Doomsday Lands? Shiba, how could I forget? The beast god proclaimed, the heavens shift, realm gates swing open, alien invaders shall scour the land. Evil thoughts converge, wicked spirits descend, calamity shall befall all worlds. Ling Chun. Therefore, humans must be one of the alien factions foretold by the beast god. Shiba, can your next divination directly reveal the alien's cave location? Ling Chun, it cannot. Divine divination only gives vague premonitions of events that will greatly affect me. It cannot pinpoint exact details. Still, this reading has given us enormous insight. Knowing the foe moves under a royal identity drastically narrows our search pool. There are very few royals in this region. If we keep watch on every royal, we shall inevitably spot their flaws. Shiba, true, there are roughly 10 beastkin royals in this zone. Yet most keep low profiles and rarely speak in regional chat. Where do we begin our investigation? Ling Chun, first gather detailed intelligence on every royal within the region. Then we wait. Shiba, wait? Wait for what? Ling Chun, wait for an occasion when royals of this region can meet face to face. If we act rashly and probe each royal now, we risk alerting our target, who will then go into hiding. We must pretend we know nothing. Once the rules of the Doomsday Lands shift to permit royal gatherings, we will reference our collected data, and screen each candidate one by one. Shiba, humph, then let this alien live a little longer. Ling Chun, remember, this information stays between us. We cannot trust the other royals for now. After all, only the two of us have met each other among Azeroth's royalty. We have never laid eyes on the rest. Shiba, understood. Meanwhile, Fan Kuan, the supposedly crafty, greedy traitor, was chatting amicably with his followers. Fan Kuan, Roair, where did your elder sister marry? What was her dowry? Fan Kuan, Chen Air, Are there any ancient ruins or legends in your Iron Furnace City? Fan Cohen. Mayer, how many partners does your father have? Fan Cohen. Gang Air. Gongzi. What is your usual income? Dawn of the 8th day of the apocalypse. Through late night cultivation, Fan Kuan had maxed out his spiritual energy. At dawn, Xiaoyin promptly presented a light orb. He tapped it open. 5. Star Combat Art, Cloud Soaring Technique. A movement-type skill. He could only deposit it in the library to be listed in his faction store later. Fan Kuan opened the chat system and reviewed the latest messages. All quiet. His identity and location had not been exposed. No threads mentioning him as a traitor existed in the chat. It seemed divine divination could only cast vague predictions and could not pinpoint him precisely. So why delay? Time to relocate. Fan Kuan took out his cave relocation scroll. Just as he prepared to input the coordinates for the largest spiritual energy node on the regional line map, his fingers paused. He turned his head. Xiaoyin, when the cave relocates. He nodded toward the bedroom. Will living beings not originally part of the cave be teleported along with it? Xiaoyin smiled and nodded. Rest assured, Master. Every living creature and resource inside the cave will be transported together. Fan Kuan walked to the bedroom doorway. The young fox lay on her side, cheeks flushed, long eyelashes fluttering gently with each breath. Watching the still, sleeping fox, Fan Kuan smiled. He traced his finger to confirm the destination. The relocation scroll burst into silvery light that enveloped the entire cave. In the next instant, the cave vanished beneath the ground. Once the dizziness faded, Fan Kuan glanced at the fox still fast asleep. He checked his mining area. The 4 giant spirit crystal mines still stood tall. Impatiently, he stepped outside his cave. Good heavens, this place was like a fairyland. Beyond the cave stretched a vast canyon encircled by towering green mountains. Lush grass, dense woods, and blooming wildflowers carpeted the land. Thick spiritual energy drifted through every corner of the canyon like morning mist. Fan Kuan's cave sat halfway up a mountain peak. A waterfall cascaded nearby. Outside the cave entrance lay a 300-square-meter stone platform offering sweeping views over the whole canyon. Standing on the platform with hands clasped behind his back, Fan Kuan surveyed the land below. A sense of supreme authority washed over him. He chuckled. One day, the ground beneath him would be filled with countless beings of all races, looking upward toward him. He refocused his thoughts and sorted out his priorities. The first wave of celestial disasters would end in 5 days, when the comprehensive shelter power rankings would be published. Securing a top 3 regional rank was his highest priority, for it would grant him access to a 5-star bloodline essence. Fan Kuan opened the holographic panel. Shelter comprehensive power includes shelter grade, auxiliary facilities, secret manual equipment star ratings, cultivation progress. His shelter grade was already the highest available. Upgrading to a small city would demand massive time spent recruiting subordinates and gathering city core materials. Neither task could be finished within 5 days without severely slowing his own cultivation progress. Auxiliary facilities were simpler. No one else possessed as many spirit crystals as he did at this stage. He could purchase more spirit springs, beast enclosures, and spirit energy cores. They would prove useful later anyway. When it came to secret manuals, he held an overwhelming advantage. A 9-star movement art, 7-star cultivation technique, 6-star finger strike art, plus assorted palm and fist combat arts. That should be more than enough. Equipment was his weak point. Right now he only had one barely usable 3-star armor. He would need to hunt more boss-grade monsters. Cultivation progress worried him. He had lost an entire day absorbing attributes. The Beastkin Royals boasted talents comparable or superior to his own, and their cultivation speed was formidable. After organizing his plans, Fan Kuan resolved to devote the next 5 days entirely to cultivation so he would not fall too far behind in that category. He would establish his faction only after this round of celestial disasters concluded and his power had grown further. He descended the stone platform along a winding trail and wandered through the canyon. Mesmerized by the scenery and saturated spiritual energy, he even found the roaming corrupted corpses almost tolerable. Whether due to the dense local spiritual energy or monsters growing stronger as the apocalypse dragged on, ordinary corrupted corpses remained the most numerous threat. Yet packs of corrupted corpse hounds roamed freely, and ghosts, children, and mantis beasts appeared everywhere. That suited Fan Kuan perfectly. He no longer needed to waste time searching for foes. Rounding a mountain ridge, he reached the canyon's innermost depths. A great lake came into view. Sunlight glinted off the water, casting shimmering white radiance across its surface. Truly the finest spiritual energy node in this region. The lake itself was nearly transforming into a spirit lake. Fan Kuan was thoroughly satisfied with his new home, but he frowned at the hordes of corrupted corpses lingering around the shore. He had to clear them away. He would not let filth pollute these waters. Moments later, all corpses around the lake had been eliminated, and his vitality bar refilled completely. He sat cross-legged by the shore and rapidly replenished his spent spiritual energy. Soon, energy rippled through his body. He had advanced. Bloodline, human royal fused bloodline. Heavenly Ho Clan realm. Initiation realm 4th, order talent. 7, star vitality talent. 98 spirit talent. 108 vitality. 6615/99, 22 spiritual energy. 7290/10935. Wow. After another 50% boost, his spiritual energy ceiling had broken 10,000, and his vitality was close behind. Fan Kuan recalled how merely days ago he had been a weakling with 100 vitality points. He pondered his stats. Inside his new cave's cultivation chamber, spiritual energy concentration was 10 times higher than outside. Combined with his 7-star cultivation manual, he could recover 1,000 spiritual energy points per hour. If he improved his efficiency slaying monsters, he might advance 2 minor realms in a single day. At this rate, he could potentially reach Initiation Realm 9th order before the celestial disasters ended. Keep pushing forward. Glancing at fish swimming happily in the lake, Fan Kuan set off to explore another direction. He returned to the stone platform outside his cave, crossed the grassland below, and followed the canyon further onward. The passage narrowed, and the surrounding mountain cliffs grew steeper. Presently, the corrupted corpse cavern appeared before him. Fan Kuan's expression turned solemn. What a coincidence! He had just relocated and already found this cavern, sitting right on the only path leading out of the canyon. He flashed onto the opposite cliff and carefully observed the site. This cavern was far larger than the one he had discovered before. Its opening spanned 30 meters across. Even outside the cave, he could clearly hear the furious roars of corrupted creatures echoing from within. Corrupted corpse hounds, ghosts, children, and mantis. Beasts continuously streamed out of the entrance. A smirk tugged at Fan Kuan's lips. Since they were here, he would use their bodies to fill his 4th order vitality gauge. Dusk settled over the mountain ridges. Fan Kuan had fully restored his 4th order vitality and resolved to use the remaining daylight to finish mapping the rest of the canyon. Following the mountain foothills through a narrow stretch, he arrived at the canyon exit where 2 massive mountains nearly converged. This was no ordinary pass. It looked as though a celestial sword had split the mountains apart, a naturally impregnable choke point. Fan Kuan scanned his surroundings. If he built a wall across the gap where the mountains almost met, he would complete the canyon's outer defenses. The full layout of the canyon formed clearly in his mind. Shaped like a gourd and ringed by mountain ranges, Fan Kuan's cave rested at the gourd's narrow waist. Directly before the cave lay the upper grasslands. The lake sat in the bottom bulb of the gourd, and a narrow passage at the gourd's tip formed the sole canyon exit. He looked up at the towering encircling peaks and murmured, a natural stronghold, nearly impassable even for birds. Beyond the exit stretched rolling hills. His eyes lit up, and he dashed forward. Pale white light glowed. A medium-sized spirit crystal mine. How fortunate. Fan Kuan had wondered why no mines had appeared inside the canyon despite its powerful spiritual energy node. It had been waiting for him right outside. Perfect. His expanded large-scale cave storage space could hold a medium-sized spirit crystal mine. Light flickered. The mine was secured. He headed home. Elsewhere, Shiba had upgraded his dwelling to a large-scale cave and poured all his focus into cultivation. Aside from occasional messages to Ling Chun, he ignored managing his bearkin subordinates. His sole goal was to become the first person in the region to break through to the next major realm. Though Fan Kuan had snatched the #1 regional ranking from him 3 times already, Shiba believed true cultivation strength defined royal status. When he advanced, his name would resound across the entire zone. The dark golden bearkin ought to be the true rulers of these lands. Glancing at the fading sky, Shiba hurried onward. His stockpile of spirit crystals was exhausted. Now that his cave had been upgraded, he intended to claim a wild spirit crystal mine for convenient cultivation access. He reached the canyon pass and circled the area repeatedly. Where was the mine? Where in the world had it gone? Fan Kuan returned to his cave humming cheerfully. Upon entering, he saw the young fox awake, sitting by the stone table eating peaches under Xiao Yin's watch. Spotting Fan Kuan, she dropped her peach and hurried over nervously. She dropped to her knees with a soft thud. "Greetings, my lord." "Rise." Fan Kuan squatted down in front of her. The young fox lifted her fair, delicate face. Her large round eyes held the clarity of youth. She slowly stood, tense, bit her lower lip, and whispered, "Thank you for saving me, my lord." Fan Kuan looked at her human-like youthful features and smiled. "We are both of fox kind. It was only right." Her eyes sparkled with surprise. "You are fox kind? Then, are you a nine-tailed heavenly fox, my lord?" Fan Kuan gently patted the top of her head. "Yes. This humble servant Lu Yunxi greets the heavenly fox lord." She dropped to her knees once more. Fan Kuan quickly helped her back to her feet and tapped her nose lightly. "No more kneeling when you see me. You may continue calling me my lord, or you may call me. I shall keep addressing you as my lord." Lu Yunxi answered with a soft smile. "Very well." Fan Kuan took her hand and led her back to the stone table. "Then I shall call you Yunxi?" "Yes, my lord," she replied, tilting her head upward. Fan Kuan sat beside the table and gestured toward the peaches. "Are they tasty?" Lu Yunxi nodded. "Very tasty. Eat as many as you like." Lu Yunxi waved her small hands. "No thank you. I'm full." Fan Kuan nodded and pondered for a moment before lowering his voice to ask, "Tell me what happened to you. What went on inside that cave?" At the mention of this painful memory, big tears began to stream down Lu Yunxi's cheeks. Her face crumpled with grief as she spoke in broken sobs. 3 days after the divine beast's oracle, Mother and I were teleported to that cave. But, on the third night after the great catastrophe struck, hordes of monsters burst into our cave and trapped us. Then Mother was devoured by one of those monsters. 2 mother and daughter foxes assigned to a single cave. Quite considerate allocation. Fan Kuan's expression turned solemn. A monster ate the mother fox and then gained a foxtail? What if it had eaten both of them? Also, just what was this divine beast's oracle anyway? Seeing how distraught the little fox was, Fan Kuan tried to shift the subject. "Have you managed to get in touch with your father?" My father was killed by the wolf clan a year ago." She burst into loud, heart-wrenching weeping. Fan Kuan rose to his feet, walked over to Lu Yunxi's side, and gently patted her shoulder. After a long while, Lu Yunxi gradually stopped crying. She looked up at Fan Kuan with tear-blurred eyes, her voice hoarse. "Sir, what am I supposed to do from now on?" That was indeed a difficult question. Fan Kuan's brows twitched. He squatted down, stared at his own toes, and said slowly, "We are both of the Fox clan. I will take care of you." Noticing the girl's mood had lightened a little, Fan Kuan pulled out a glowing orb. "Would you like to try opening mystery orbs?" Lu Yunxi was clearly familiar with these orbs. She nodded, and a spark of light returned to her eyes. As Lu Yunxi opened orb after orb, a faint smile crept onto her face. Fan Kuan chose that moment to speak. "You remember the divine beast's oracle? What exactly were you doing when it came?" Children's emotions shifted quickly. At Fan Kuan's question, Lu Yunxi chattered away, recounting the oracle and everything that had happened that day. Afraid she might misremember, Fan Kuan casually asked her the same thing again several minutes later. Lu Yunxi confidently repeated every detail word for word. The divine beast's oracle echoed 3 times. "I've memorized every single word and will never forget it, rest assured, sir." Watching her unshakable certainty, Fan Kuan gave a slight nod and sank into thought. It seemed humans and beastfolk had experienced much the same sequence. Both had received advance warning 3 days prior, followed by mass teleportation. Yet, why had the divine beast's message contained extra lines that had not been heard back on Blue Star? Fan Kuan still remembered perfectly the announcement he had heard on Blue Star. It had only warned everyone they would be transported to the Doomsday Lands 3 days later, nothing more. Why, then, had the beastfolk's deity described so many specifics about the coming disaster? Fan Kuan murmured the verses under his breath. "Heaven and earth shift, realm gates swing wide, alien races shall scourge the land. Evil thoughts converge, wicked spirits descend, calamity shall blanket the world." The more he repeated them, the more unsettled he felt. The divine beast had practically given the beastfolk advance spoilers. It had warned them of invading outsiders, foretold disasters, and evil spirits. From this perspective, the beastfolk's deity played by different rules. Meanwhile, Blue Star's deity seemed far less helpful, though not entirely useless. After all, that power had sent him over ahead of schedule, and had even seized a top-tier cave originally meant for the beastfolk. Quite the compliment. Fan Kuan glanced upward toward the cave's ceiling and let out a quiet huff. Soon Lu Yunxi finished opening all the orbs. She stretched lazily, eyes shining brightly. Sir, what should I do with all these items? Pulling his mind back from his thoughts, Fan Kuan glanced at her. Hand them over to Xiaoyin. Understood. Lu Yunxi gestured toward the pile before her with a smile. Thank you so much, Sisterine. Fan Kuan waved Lu Yunxi over. Come, I'll show you around the dwelling so you can get familiar with the place. When I head out to cultivate later, you can amuse yourself here. Yes, sir. First, Fan Kuan brought Lu Yunxi to the mining zone and stored the spirit crystal he had collected. With this addition, Fan Kuan now possessed 5 super spirit crystal mines, yielding an astonishing 250,000 units of spirit crystals each single day. Lu Yunxi stared in awe as the spirit crystal mines expanded before her eyes. Truly worthy of a 9-tailed heavenly fox. Next, Fan Kuan showed her the planting grounds and livestock pens. Lu Yunxi showed little interest in the spirit plants, instead pointing at the empty animal enclosures. Sir, why are there no animals kept in these pens? Because I had no one to handle roasting them. Catching the longing glint in her eyes, Fan Kuan smiled. I personally am not fond of livestock, but tomorrow I can catch a few for you. Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Lu Yunxi's eyes crinkled into happy crescents. A thought suddenly struck Fan Kuan. Yunxi, are you capable of cultivation? I am. She stood a little straighter and tiptoed. I've been practicing the cultivation manual we found in the cave. My spirit energy is already full, but my vitality stat is, as long as you can cultivate. Once this round of catastrophes passes, I will take you out to gather vitality together. Thank you, sir. Lu Yunxi gave a formal little bow. What is your current maximum vitality value? 312. Lu Yunxi pouted. Come again. Fan Kuan was thoroughly taken aback. This young fox cub possessed a vitality ceiling 3 times higher than his own when he had first arrived in the Doomsday Lands. Fan Kuan recalled that upon arrival his maximum vitality had been a mere 100. Only after absorbing a hyena's bloodline had it climbed to 410. It really is 312. Lu Yunxi glanced uncertainly at the light screen floating above her wrist. Something felt off. Fan Kuan's gaze fell on the single tail swaying behind her. He clearly remembered the firefox he had slain had possessed 4 tails, yet had been weaker than himself back when he only held a 1-star hyena bloodline. Beastfolk with 1-star bloodlines typically held vitality between 400 and 500. How could this cub already boast over 300? Could beastfolk youth and adults share similar vitality ranges? What bloodline do you bear? Fan Kuan sought confirmation. The red-tailed fox bloodline. Lu Yunxi tilted her chin upward with quiet pride. Red-tailed fox bloodline, a 3-star bloodline. That explained everything. She was of noble descent. 3-star beastfolk normally reached 600 to 700 vitality in adulthood. It made sense for a child to possess roughly half that amount. Look what I have here. Fan Kuan held up the glowing orb containing the 3-star red-tailed fox essence blood. Lu Yunxi accepted it and examined its contents, looking confused. Red-tailed fox essence blood. What is this for? Apparently the young fox did not keep up with group chat messages. Fan Kuan looked her squarely in the eyes and said earnestly, absorbing it can raise your bloodline talent. Really? Lu Yunxi gasped. How can such a marvelous thing exist? She cupped the orb in both hands, filled with longing. After my bloodline advances, I shall become a 7-tailed spirit fox of 4-star rank. If I advance even further, Fan Kuan gently patted the top of her head. Take it slow. Absorb the essence blood and get some sleep. Dream big. I'm off to cultivate. I obey, sir. Holding the orb joyfully, Lu Yunxi bowed deeply toward him. Thank you. No need to thank me. This is your mother's last gift to you. Fan Kuan waved and walked away. Inside the cultivation chamber, he skimmed through group chat messages and spent an hour interacting with other practitioners online. In particular, he dug into full details about the Divine Beast's oracle and the origin of the Divine Beast. The Divine Beast was the sole, true deity worshipped across all beastfolk of the Azeroth continent. Though it had never physically descended upon the world, its legends ran throughout beastfolk history. The beastfolk had their Divine Beast. Then who was the deity watching over Blue Star? Fan Kuan sat cross-legged on a straw mat, lost in thought. Blue Star had countless gods and Buddhas. Temples great and small dotted the land. Pinpointing exactly which entity had sent him over would prove difficult. Dawn of the 9th day in the Doomsday Lands. Fan Kuan finished his cultivation and took the orb Xiaoyin handed him. Child Rearing Handbook. Huh? What's this? Some kind of skill. Fan Kuan stared at the orb's description, thoroughly perplexed. Very well then. He exhaled slowly. More knowledge could not hurt. Once peace returned, he supposed he could even take up carpentry or blacksmithing. Seeing the little fox still fast asleep, Fan Kuan did not disturb her. Stepping out of the cave, he cleared away rotting corpses surrounding the dwelling before heading straight for the corpse cave. More corrupted corpses huddled in the mountain shadows today. Like bats avoiding sunlight, they lined up in long ranks pressed against the rock face. Fan Kuan cut them down one after another. His spirit-piercing finger unleashed rapid streaks of power, and his 10,000-point spirit energy reserve gave him plenty to spare. Outside the corpse cave's entrance roamed ghost children and mantis monsters. The dense concentration of mini-bosses greatly boosted his kill rate. After advancing to the 4th realm, each mini-boss now granted 40 vitality points instead of 50. This minor drop barely slowed his cultivation progress. Before noon, as his Dantian underwent another transformation, Fan Kuan successfully broke through to starting realm 5th order. Bloodline, Human Royal, Fused Bloodline. Heavenly Hound Clan, Realm, starting realm 5th order, Talent, 7-star, Vitality Talent. 98, Spirit Energy Talent. 108, Vitality. 9,922/14883, Spirit Energy. 10,935/16402. The 50% stat increase per realm grew more staggering at higher ranks, though the time required for each breakthrough also rose accordingly. Feeling his nearly 15,000-point maximum vitality and seemingly inexhaustible spirit energy, Fan Kuan's gaze drifted toward the cave's dark depths. Maybe I ought to go in and pay our host a visit. His constant fighting outside the cave these past 2 days had enraged the powerful boss dwelling deep within, who roared repeatedly from the darkness. For reasons unknown, whether restricted in movement or bound by other forces, the boss had not yet charged out to confront him. Still, Fan Kuan wanted to go inside and face it. They were neighbors, after all. A meeting was inevitable sooner or later. Most importantly, he needed experience to keep leveling. As his vitality ceiling kept rising, he required greater numbers of high-rank corrupted monsters to maintain his cultivation speed. The endless hordes deep inside the corpse cave made for perfect prey. He stepped into the cave, eliminated a few mantis monsters near the entrance, and descended the steep rocky slope toward the underground depths. Light faded the further he went. Only the faint green glow of viscous fluids stuck to the stone walls lit his path forward. Corrupted hounds, ghost children, and mantis monsters kept scrambling upward from below. Fan Kuan slew them all as he advanced, like a warrior marching down into hell. Soon he reached the bottom of the slope. What he saw there nearly made him turn and flee instantly with a flash step. A vast underground cavern stretched out before him. Thousands of corrupted hounds, ghost children, mantis monsters, and black-furred ape monsters fixed their bloodshot gazes directly on him. Further back, lining the far end of the cavern, stood a row of ghost brides, the same creatures he had encountered while rescuing Lu Yunxi. Behind them, upon a raised stone platform, swirled a mass of black flame. Within those flames loomed a graceful silhouette. At Fan Kuan's arrival, that figure let loose a deafening shriek. Every monster surged forward, charging straight toward him. Whoa, I didn't mean to provoke you that badly. He dared not stand against such overwhelming numbers. Golden light flashed beneath his feet, and he darted back out of the cave. Reaching sunlit ground outside, Fan Kuan kept his eyes locked on the cave mouth. A chaotic thunder of footsteps echoed forth, like a dark tide spilling up from the underworld. Had he bitten off far more than he could handle? Fan Kuan raced through options in his mind. If necessary, he would draw the entire horde out toward the canyon. The ravenous monster army poured out of the cave, yet halted sharply at the boundary between sunlight and shadow. They stared at Fan Kuan with crimson eyes, but would not step past that dividing line. After some time, the horde grew less agitated. Most shuffled back into the corpse cave, leaving only a small remnant wandering slowly within the mountainside shadows. Fan Kuan heaved a deep sigh. Disaster averted. He glanced upward at the sun hanging in the sky. If only he could wield solar-aligned light power, how much easier would fighting these corrupted creatures become? Solar power. The very thought filled him with awe. Shortly before dusk, Fan Kuan finished gathering vitality. Seeing more and more mini-bosses spilling out of the corpse cave, he activated his swift flight combat skill and departed. On his journey home, he remembered his promise to the young fox. He scanned the grasslands. Where had all the rabbits he saw by day gone? None remained once night fell. Nearly back at his dwelling, Fan Kuan spotted a litter of wild boar hidden in mid-mountain shrubbery. Ignoring the mother boar's protests, he took 2 piglets away. As soon as he entered the cave, Lu Yunxi bounded over and gave a respectful curtsy. "Welcome home, sir." Fan Kuan noticed she looked even more lovely after absorbing the bloodline essence. Her childish baby fat had faded, her features growing sharper and more defined, her eyes slanting elegantly upward. It seemed higher star fox bloodlines truly enhanced one's appearance. Here you go. Fan Kuan held out the two squirming piglets. Lu Yunxi stared at the struggling little creatures, uncertain how to receive them. She grimaced. Sir, could you please place them directly into the pen for me? So I get to do the delivery service as well. Once set inside the enclosure, the piglets calmed down at once. Lu Yunxi squatted right away to play with them. Are you settling in well here? Fan Kuan asked. It's wonderful, far better than my old cave. She answered without looking up. Have you eaten? Yes. Sister Een gave me spirit rice and peaches. How do you feel after absorbing the red-tailed fox essence blood? Wonderful. Lu Yunxi lifted her head, eyes glowing bright. I am now a seven-tailed spirit fox, a crimson spirit fox. What is your new maximum vitality? Nearly 400. Good progress. Keep yourself occupied. I've left more mystery orbs in the library for you to open later. I'm going to cultivate. Seeing Fan Kuan prepare to leave, Lu Yunxi finally lifted her gaze. Sir, you have only just returned, and you are going to cultivate already? Fan Kuan paused, meeting her clear bright eyes. I am engaged in a cultivation contest against powerful figures from other clans. I must keep training hard. At the word contest, Lu Yunxi's eyes lit up. She clenched her small fists. Fox Clan invincible. May we unite all races. Fight hard, sir. Unite all races. Even fox children were raised with such warlike sentiments. Back in his cultivation chamber, Fan Kuan did not start practicing immediately. He wanted to check for new messages in the regional group chat. Opening it, he saw major news. Een Jiao of the Skywolf clan had founded the region's first faction, Skywolf Alliance. He was now extending invitations to Wolf Clan members and other beast folk to join. Everyone pursued different paths. Een Jiao had chosen to establish a faction at such an early stage. Where had he obtained a faction token? Fan Kuan stroked his eyebrow. Had it dropped from a powerful boss? That must be it. Founding a faction and gathering 1,000 subordinates were prerequisites for upgrading to a small-scale city. So there had to be ways to acquire faction tokens. Een Jiao must be quite strong. Fan Kuan had slain countless mini-bosses without obtaining a single token, so this one had likely come from an exceptionally formidable foe. Een Jiao's cultivation level was probably higher than his own, explaining his confidence to launch a faction now. He might also have hoped for a regional system announcement reward for being the first to establish a faction. Apparently, no such reward had appeared. Still, it served as a sharp reminder. The noble bloodline holders possessed genuine power. He could not afford to slack off in his cultivation. After skimming through regional chat threads, Fan Kuan began meditating on spirit energy refinement. Dawn of the 10th day in the Doomsday Lands. Overnight cultivation brought Fan Kuan another realm advancement. Bloodline, Human Royal, Fused Bloodline, Heavenly Hound Clan, Realm, Starting Realm 6th Order, Talent, 7-star, Vitality Talent, 98, Spirit Energy Talent, 108, Vitality, 14,883/22324, Spirit Energy, 16,402/24603. Both vitality and spirit energy ceilings had broken past 20,000. Repeated breakthroughs lifted Fan Kuan's spirits, bringing him ever closer to the next major realm tier. He accepted the orb Xiaoyin handed him, then froze in bewilderment. 18 different hairstyling techniques. Really? Are you serious? Am I some sort of full-time caretaker now? Fan Kuan tossed the orb back to Xiaoyin. Are these orbs truly generated completely at random? Xiaoyin nodded gently. Yes, master. They are produced according to the attributes of the book house. Fan Kuan pursed his lips, unconvinced. Ever since the young fox had arrived, none of the drops had been useful for combat or cultivation. He glanced toward the cave's ceiling. Come on, give me a break. I'm already working as hard as I can. After his morning meal of spirit rice and 2 peaches, Fan Kuan headed out to hunt monsters. Now at Starting Realm 6th Order, even with a 20,000 plus vitality cap, he needed to gain another 7,500 vitality points to fill his gauge. Mini-bosses now only granted 30 vitality points per kill. Even in this apocalyptic world, there was no rest for him. Fan Kuan first cleared corrupted monsters near his dwelling, making certain none wandered close to the cave entrance and frightened Lu Yunxi. Once finished, he proceeded to the corpse cave for his daily grinding. Drawing on yesterday's experience, he quickly disposed of roaming monsters by the entrance, then charged deep inside the cave. He provoked the boss shrouded in black flame, drawing furious roars from the powerful entity. Today the ghost brides joined the monster horde surging toward Fan Kuan, moving with clear intent to attack him with full force. Yet the outcome was the same as yesterday. All roar and no bite. They fled at the first sign of sunlight, handing Fan Kuan chance after chance to slay them one by one. Shortly after noon, after Fan Kuan lured 3 waves of monsters, his vitality finally filled to maximum. Time to head home and cultivate spirit power. Fan Kuan descended underground and shouted a greeting toward the great boss. Perhaps they had met one another too many times, for instead of roaring in impotent rage as usual, the boss leaned forward, its eyes fixed silently upon Fan Kuan. What? Are you planning to come out yourself? Seeing it make no further move, Fan Kuan politely tossed it an international hand gesture. Back at the cave abode, the little fox sat obediently at the stone table eating lunch. It seemed she was quite fond of peaches as well. Fan Kuan stepped forward and ruffled her small head. He tossed the light sphere he had collected that morning to the fox, then headed straight for the spirit cultivation chamber to begin his practice. As night fell, a ripple of spirit force emanated from the cultivation room. Fan Kuan broke through to the 7th tier of the initiation realm. Bloodline, Human Royal, Fused Bloodline. Heavenly Hound Clan, Cultivation Tier. Initiation Realm 7th Tier, Talent, 7 stars, Vitality Talent. 98, Spirit Power Talent. 108, Vitality. 22324/33486, Spirit Power. 24603/36904. Staring at his status panel, Fan Kuan sighed inwardly. No wonder high-rank cultivators in those Xinxia novels could easily overpower lower-rank opponents. With stats like these, even prodigies and royal bloodlines would struggle to compete. Yet progress was growing slower by the tier. Once, filling his spirit power for a single rank only took 2 to 3 hours. Now it required a full 12 hours. The road ahead would be long and arduous. Fan Kuan dared not slack off. He quickly skimmed the regional chat system and resumed cultivating spirit power. Dawn of the 11th day of the apocalypse, the 8th day since the calamity began. After 12 hours of effort, Fan Kuan finally filled his spirit power for the 7th tier. He stood, stretched his limbs, and walked out of the cultivation chamber in good spirits. He waved as he walked. Xiaoyin, hand over today's secret manual. Right away, master. Xiaoyin held out a light sphere. Fan Kuan took it and checked its contents. Pet rearing techniques. Very well, if that's how it's going to be, I simply won't learn it. Fan Kuan glanced at Xiaoyin, who wore a calm expression, and shook his head. He turned toward the bedroom to check on the little fox. He had only taken a few steps when he heard Lu Yunqi's clear laughter drifting over from the livestock enclosure. Turning toward the area, he spotted her squatting inside the pen, brushing the fur of the young wild boars. The beast pen possessed the power to tame wild creatures. The 2 piglets lay docilely across Lu Yunqi's lap, as if they had been raised as pets for ages. Lu Yunqi styled one boar's hair into a slicked-back crest, and the other with a center parting. Yunqi, you're up quite early today, Fan Kuan said with a smile. Ah, Lord Fan. Lu Yunqi looked up in surprise. I thought you were still cultivating. Take this. The skill within the sphere will serve you well. I'm heading out. Look after yourself here, and call Xiaoyin if trouble arises. Fan Kuan reached through the railing and stroked the little fox's head. Understood, my lord. Stay safe. Lu Yunqi set down the piglet and pumped her fist. Before I go, Fan Kuan suddenly recalled something and half turned back. Is there any creature you would like me to bring back? Lu Yunqi scratched her fluffy ears. She held up one finger, hesitated, then raised a second. If it is convenient, my lord, could you bring back 2 rabbits? Rabbits were trivial prey. He could grab them in the blink of an eye with flash step. No problem. Fan Kuan waved without turning around. Leaving the cave abode, Fan Kuan fought his way to the entrance of the corrupted corpse cavern. Sensing the surging spirit power within him, he raised an eyebrow. More than 30,000 spirit points. Today, he would carve a path through every monster inside the cavern. He cleared the corrupted corpses outside and prepared to enter, yet abruptly halted and turned toward the valley pass. A tall figure strode slowly into view. If he had not known that all royal clans of this region took human form, Fan Kuan might have hurried forward to greet the newcomer. Instead, he narrowed his eyes, studying the stranger carefully while maintaining high vigilance. He could not see the foe's level or stats, yet he felt the overwhelming vitality radiating from that body, even from afar. This was a powerful expert. Shiba, who approached, also sized Fan Kuan up cautiously. After discovering the spirit crystal vein had vanished a few days prior, he had suspected another royal clansman with a large cave abode had settled nearby. He had been too busy cultivating to investigate the canyon these past 2 days. Now on the verge of advancing to the 9th tier, He cleared corrupted corpses along the way to explore the valley. He had barely entered the pass when he laid eyes on another royal clansman. The two stood facing each other, locked in a silent stare. Sheba was the first to break the silence. I am Sheba of the Dark Golden Bear clan. Which clan do you belong to? Damn, this was the loudmouth bear who kept shouting in the group chat that he would hunt me down. I finally meet him at last, but I might not win a straight fight. Fan Cohen felt the foe's vitality roil like a raging ocean, crashing against him, brimming with terrifying power. He could not afford a head-on clash, yet he could not afford to appear weak either. Fan Cohen settled on a plan. Maintaining a calm expression, he folded his hands behind his back and spoke slowly. Fan Cohen of the Nine-Tailed Heavenly Fox clan. Fan Cohen? Sheba froze, his golden-flecked eyes widening. I have heard much of you. Have you been lingering in this area? Fan Cohen shook his head. I only moved here using a teleport scroll recently. I never expected to meet another royal clansman here. Just arrived? Sheba glanced around the canyon. This place must be excellent, then. It is indeed ideal. Easy to defend and difficult to attack, Fan Cohen replied evenly. Sheba pointed behind him. There was a spirit crystal vein by the pass. You claimed it, did you not? I did. Sheba's lips tugged upward. Then you must return it. How unreasonably domineering. Fan Cohen frowned. Or veins in the wild belong to whoever claims them. What reason do I have to give it back? Sheba let out a low laugh. Very well, since we cannot reach an agreement, we shall follow the rules of our beast clans. Might makes right. Ling Shun of the Azure Dark Tortoise clan had told Sheba to probe every royal clansman in the region. Now that he had found one, he could test his strength through combat. This fox had stolen his spotlight 3 times already. Even if they were not separate races, he still intended to force him to surrender something of value. Humph. Are the bear clans still this crude? A trace of disdain appeared on Fan Cohen's face. I accept your challenge, if you wish to fight. Neighbors as we are, a reckoning was inevitable sooner or later. But, do you truly believe now is the right time? What makes you say that? Anger flickered across Sheba's face. He hated being called crude, not even by someone of the Nine-Tailed Heavenly Fox clan. The great calamity is drawing near. Are you so confident you will secure one of the top 3 positions among all shelters? Are you the highest-ranked cultivator, or the strongest by realm? That is none of your concern. Sheba twisted his thick neck and clenched his fists. Fan Cohen did not back down. He stepped forward and spoke solemnly. Sheba, have you forgotten the beast god's edict? The foreign invaders still roam free. If we royal clans slaughter each other first, we will hand them the perfect chance to strike. Sheba's brows drew tight, and he paused his advance. Seizing the opening, Fan Cohen continued. I agree we should test our strength against one another. But we can do it another way. He nodded toward the corrupted corpse cavern. Have you cleared this cavern before? Sheba glanced toward the cave entrance. I have. The strongest corrupted corpse within still lives, does it not? Fan Cohen tilted his chin upward slightly. You propose we join forces to clear this cavern? Sheba's voice deepened. You could say that, Fan Cohen nodded. Raising our cultivation is our highest priority. We purge this cavern. We see who strikes the finishing blow on the strongest monster, or who slays the most foes. We gain vitality and settle our dispute at the same time. The winner claims the spirit crystal vein. Sheba fell silent. He stared at Fan Cohen for several seconds, then nodded. Very well. I shall make your defeat undeniable. Let us begin. Fan Cohen charged into the cavern first. Privately, he thought, I may not win a one-on-one duel against you, but when it comes to slaying corrupted corpses, I am far from certain to lose. Watching Fan Cohen's swift movement, Sheba's expression turned grave before he rushed after him. Fan Cohen maintained a low output of the graceful swift movement, firing the spirit insight finger repeatedly to harvest corrupted corpses, speaking as he fought. If neither of us lands the killing blow on the chief monster, victory goes to whoever kills more. Do not forget to count. 11th. Sheba pulverized a mantis fiend's head with one punch and snorted contemptuously. 5th. The two descended into a frenzied slaughter, soon reaching the underground cavern. The commotion roused every monster below, and they surged toward the pair. As usual, Fan Cohen retreated while weaving and dodging, picking off foes as he moved. Sheba fought differently. He planted himself firmly at the cavern entrance like an iron nail. Lesser bosses quickly surrounded him, launching endless assaults. Sheba wore no armor and barely bothered blocking blows. He crushed corrupted corpses with every punch. Soon his clothes were torn to shreds, leaving only a scrap of cloth covering his lower body. The mantis blades of mantis fiends left nothing but pale marks on his skin. Ghost wraith claws tore only strips of fabric from his frame. When a black fur ape traded blows with him, its arm snapped. A corrupted hound that bit down on him merely cracked its own teeth. Seeing Shiba stand unshaken like a war god, Fan Kuan, who fought hit-and-run tactics from the sidelines, inwardly gasped. Thankfully, I avoided a direct duel. A single blow might fracture my bones. Even Spirit Insight Finger may not be enough. Judging by his physical defense, his vitality must exceed 50,000. Fan Kuan continued slaying monsters while calling out his tally. 21, 22, 25, 28. Shiba gritted his teeth, his dark golden hair standing on end. Monster corpses piled waist-high beside him. Shiba feared no injury, and the corrupted corpses knew no fear. No matter how many fell, more charged forward like an endless black tide crashing against a golden reef. Fan Kuan picked off foes while keeping an eye on Shiba. The horde pressed onward over piles of corpses. Shiba advanced through the center, and Fan Kuan pushed forward along the flank. More and more monsters perished. Both combatants' vitality climbed steadily, yet their spirit power drained rapidly. Fan Kuan had set out with over 36,000 spirit points. Now it had fallen to 28,000. He glanced curiously at Shiba. Could this bear also boast such vast spirit power? Upon closer observation, he noticed no spirit light wrapped around Shiba's fists. He relied purely on raw physical strength. Fan Kuan could shatter a ghost wraith skull with the Thunderstrike fist channeled by spirit power, yet without spirit force, he could at best crush a corrupted hound's head. This bear must be at minimum the 8th tier of Initiation Realm, Fan Kuan surmised. The battle raged on. Shiba forged a bloodied path through the monster horde. With Shiba drawing the bulk of aggression, Fan Kuan's slaying efficiency rose sharply. The Spirit Insight Finger struck without pause. 6 Meridian Divine Sword became 10 firing fingers, launching streaks of light in quick succession to cut down corrupted corpses. They fought for more than an hour. The cavern, once packed with monsters, now held barely over 60 black fur apes, and some 20 ghost brides gathered before the great boss. The monsters halted their charge and clustered around their leader. Fan Kuan's vitality refilled completely. He glanced at blood-soaked Shiba, then hastily retreated to recover spirit power within the cavern. 10 minutes later, his spirit power reached maximum capacity, and breakthrough energy rippled outward. Fan Kuan advanced to the 8th tier of the Initiation Realm. Bloodline, Human Royal, Fused Bloodline. Heavenly Hound Clan, Cultivation Tier. Initiation Realm 8th Tier, Talent, 7 stars, Vitality Talent. 98, Spirit Power Talent. 108, Vitality. 33486/50229, Spirit Power. 36904/55356. 50,000 maximum vitality and spirit power. A smile tugged at Fan Kuan's lips as he turned toward Shiba. You broke through. Why not join the fight? Shiba glanced back. No rush. I have no intention of fleeing. Fan Kuan replied calmly. He had guessed based on Shiba's messages in the group chat. For all his overbearing nature, the bear valued the honor of beast clans, and Fan Kuan was certain he would not strike while he cultivated. Still, Fan Kuan wondered what Shiba's maximum vitality might be. He must have left fully charged with spirit power this morning, yet his vitality continued rising. Was he pushing toward the threshold of the 9th tier? Battle ignited once more. As corrupted corpses fell one after another, the fighting strength of Fan Kuan and Shiba slowly climbed higher. When only 60 black fur apes remained, the ghost brides before the stone platform finally moved. Clad in blood-red wedding gowns, they transformed into streaks of crimson shadow, splitting into 2 groups to assault Fan Kuan and Shiba. These ghost brides were nothing like the weakened versions he had encountered outside the cavern. They moved with astonishing speed, black lights swirling in their eyes, 10 sharp black claws extending from each hand. A single slash carved 5 bleeding gashes across Shiba's arm. It was the first wound he had sustained all battle. Fan Kuan stood slightly behind Shiba. Seeing this, he leaped backward, widening the gap between himself and the ghost brides. Most of the brides chasing Fan Kuan turned to attack Shiba, leaving only 5 to pursue him. 20-odd ghost brides surrounded Shiba. They leaped behind the black fur apes, alternating forward to strike. Gashes crisscrossed Shiba's arms and torso. Though no bones were broken, his punches gradually slowed. Fan Kuan watched, racing through possibilities. Should he rush forward to assist, or continue skirmishing? Then he lifted his gaze toward the great boss, and a chill ran down his spine. The figure shrouded in black flames gradually grew clearer. Only an alluring silhouette had been visible before, but now its face came into full view, a beautiful human woman's countenance. If regular ghost brides were enhanced ghost wraiths, This being was the ultimate evolution of the Ghost Bride. The fiendess stared at Fan Kuan with icy calm. After a pause, her purplish-red lips parted, and a frigid voice echoed through the cavern. On the 10th day, you will die. Fan Kuan's pupils contracted violently. Even Shiba, locked in fierce combat, looked up in shock. Corrupted corpses could speak. Neither Fan Kuan nor Shiba had ever witnessed such a thing. The 10th day, I will die? Did that mean she would leave her stone platform and hunt him at his cave abode that night? This fiendess could not be left alive. He had no wish to fight a deadly battle inside his home after dark. Fan Kuan abandoned hit-and-run tactics, pouring far more power into each spirit insight finger. He raised the spirit cost per strike from 30 points to 100, his maximum output. One finger blast bored a hole in a Ghost Bride's face, yet failed to pierce her skull. His insufficient attack power had become plainly evident. Within the underground cavern, the Ghost Brides boasted vastly enhanced attack, defense, and speed compared to their kin outside. While the graceful swift movement allowed him to evade injury, wearing down a single Ghost Bride demanded far too much time. Fan Kuan glanced toward Shiba. Spirit light now wrapped around the bear's fists. He could not tell the star rank of his fist technique, yet its power surpassed Fan Kuan's 4-star Thunderstrike fist. Shiba roared, and a set of black armor materialized over his body. His speed surged abruptly. He seized a Ghost Bride attempting to ambush him, swung her like a living weapon, and hurled her into the surrounding monsters. This bear truly held hidden trump cards. This armor appeared higher star rank than Fan Kuan's purple scale armor, and seemed to grant a sudden burst of speed. Fan Kuan kept attacking. Under the relentless barrage of Spirit Insight Finger, one of the pursuing Ghost Brides finally collapsed, dropping a purple 4-star light sphere. Equipment. He could ignore other drops, but he had to examine gear, especially 4-star quality. He opened the sphere's information, Nether Serpent Spear, attuned to Dark Spirit Power. Infusing Dark Spirit Power grants a 50% attack boost. Dark Spirit Power. Fan Kuan gripped the 12-foot spear, momentarily confused. What was Dark Spirit Power? Could Spirit Power be divided into different attributes? No matter. He would test its strength against these monsters. He channeled Spirit Power into the spear shaft. White light flickered along the dark metal of the Nether Serpent Spear. The spear lunged forward, stabbing straight into a Ghost Bride's mouth. A harsh scrape echoed as the tip lodged in her throat bone. Fan Kuan twisted the spear and flooded it with Spirit Power. The blade finally pierced her skull, killing the Ghost Bride. Gray-black currents flowed along the spear into Fan Kuan's body, granting him hundreds of vitality points. Truly, a capable craftsman relies on fine tools. Fan Kuan stared at the dark spear forged from unknown metal. This was merely a 4-star weapon. He could only imagine how devastating a 9-star divine artifact would be. He glanced sideways at the fiendess. What treasure might drop once she fell? Donning his purple scale armor, Fan Kuan wielded the spear and engaged the remaining 4 Ghost Brides in close combat. The Ghost Brides were swift, twisting their bodies to evade spear thrusts. Yet sudden flashes of the graceful swift movement let Fan Kuan target weak points such as mouths and eye sockets. Still, every time he spent minutes slaying one bride, he endured strikes from the other 3. Black claws screeched against the surface of the purple scale armor. Though the armor covered his whole body, it left his head unprotected. When claws sliced toward his face, he was forced to dodge urgently. It took more than 10 minutes to eliminate the 4 Ghost Brides. Without pause, Fan Kuan prepared to leap into Shiba's battle circle and clear the surrounding monsters. His objective was clear: use Shiba's formidable strength to jointly slay the fiendess. Just as it seemed Fan Kuan would charge toward the corrupted corpses beside Shiba, golden light flashed beneath his feet, and he vanished on the spot. In the next instant, the Nether Serpent Spear pierced through the black flames, aimed straight at the fiendess's head atop the stone platform. Clang! The fiendess flicked a single finger. The spear shuddered violently and veered off course. Damn, what immense strength! Fan Kuan retreated after his failed strike. The fiendess's eyes swirled, and a scornful smile crossed her lips. Ignoring her taunt, Fan Kuan charged into Shiba's vicinity. As the two fought side by side, monsters fell one after another, tipping the battle firmly in their favor. After some time, the last Ghost Bride crumpled to the ground. Only the fiendess, standing atop the stone platform, remained in the cavern. Fan Kuan held the spear pointed downward. Shiba shook corrupted flesh from his fists. The two stepped to the base of the stone platform. Hee, this is quite entertaining. The fiendess tilted her head, her alluring form shifting subtly within the black flames. You two, I shall share a secret with you. The demonic woman moistened her crimson lips and continued. Kill me, and you will obtain a 6-star light orb. A genuine 6-star treasure. A 6-star light orb. Its reward was even greater than the payout after a cataclysm concluded. Fan Kuan and Shiba exchanged a glance, and a greedy glint surfaced in both of their eyes. There was no way to verify if the demonic woman spoke the truth, yet a monster possessing such sharp intelligence would surely drop an outstanding reward upon death. Fan Kuan was still mulling things over when Shiba charged forward with his fist raised. The towering warrior, over 2 meters tall, barreled through the black flames. His massive fist collided with the demonic woman's pale palm. Boom! A dull rumble echoed. Shiba staggered backward 2 steps, while the demonic woman only leaned slightly back. Shiba cracked his neck, battle fervor blazing in his eyes, and let out a low roar. Again, he lunged forward once more. Boom! Another crash. Shiba retreated a single step and immediately pressed forward with another punch. Fan Kuan moved as well. While the demonic woman traded blows with Shiba, he flashed behind her and thrust the serpent spear straight toward her back. Clink! A crisp ring resounded. A pale spiritual ripple materialized over the demonic woman's back. A thin, silken armor had blocked Fan Kuan's strike. Are you kidding me? This monster wears equipment too. What's more, its tier surpassed both his and Shiba's gear. Shock surged through Fan Kuan, yet his movements never faltered. He retreated 2 paces, then drove the spear toward the back of her head. The spear tip sliced through the air with a shrill whistle. Even as she caught Shiba's fist, the demonic woman twisted halfway around and swatted the spearhead. A violent force surged down the shaft, forcing Fan Kuan to leap backward. Her head must be her weak point. Fan Kuan pushed off the ground with his toes, golden light flickering beneath his feet. He shifted from her rear to her flank and pointed the spear toward her temple. Right before the spear made contact, a cold smirk tugged at the demonic woman's lips. She tilted her head slightly, seized the spear shaft with both hands, and wrenched hard. Fan Kuan lost his balance and slid rapidly toward her. Just as her hands morphed into claws, ready to seize his throat, golden light flared under Fan Kuan's feet once more, and he broke free from her grasp. The demonic woman twirled the spear in one hand to create a swirling bloom of spear energy, fixing Fan Kuan with an alluring gaze. Warrior, won't you keep fighting? Are you abandoning your spear? TCH, this demonic woman is infuriating. Fan Kuan unleashed 2 successive spirit insight fingers and retorted. You can keep that spear. I have another. At the same time, he shouted to Shiba. Her armor offers strong protection. Aim for her head. At Fan Kuan's warning, Shiba charged again, his fist hurtling toward the demonic woman's skull. This time, she did not meet his blow head-on. She spread her fingers and clamped them around Shiba's wrist. When he threw his other fist, she caught that one too. Dark light seeped from her fingertips and rushed into Shiba's body. Visible streams of vital energy began draining out of him and flowing into the demonic woman. Life absorption technique. Fan Kuan stared in astonishment. No wonder she baited them into attacking her. She had laid this trap all along. Rivers of crimson vital energy traveled up her arms and pooled beneath her feet, causing the black flames covering the stone platform to dwindle. She's using stolen vital energy to extinguish the black fire. Fan Kuan yelled. He loosed spirit insight finger strikes, yet most missed her, and the few that landed only left shallow pits on her head. Fan Kuan's pupils constricted. He drew the wind-calming dagger. He could not prolong this fight. If the demonic woman broke free, he would have no choice but to abandon the cave and flee with the young fox spirit. Fan Kuan gripped the dagger firmly, channeling spiritual power into the blade. The surge/art activated, and the edge stabbed straight for her eye socket. At the last instant, the demonic woman dodged her head aside. The dagger sliced across her eyelid, carving a bleeding gash. Taking advantage of her momentary distraction, the quiet Shiba suddenly snapped his eyes wide. Golden light flooded his amber irises, and he tilted his head back to roar. Inborn battle art, dissension of the sacred bear. Wispy golden spirit flames rose across Shiba's frame. His already towering body expanded further, surging tides of vital energy erupting from within. His human form began to shift. Fangs lengthened, thick golden fur sprouted along his arms, and 10 one-foot claws jutted from his fingertips. Power amplified by his inborn battle art, Shiba strained his massive arms and slowly pried himself free of her hold. Whoa, this is the classic power-up moment. Am I the only weakling here? Fan Kuan silently complained, then flashed forward again. This time, the dagger sank all the way to the hilt. The demonic woman let out a piercing shriek. Finish her. Fan Kuan left the wind-calming dagger embedded in her eye and reached to retrieve the serpent spear on the ground. Then he paused. What was that? He glimpsed something beneath the demonic woman's feet and hastily backed away. Meanwhile, Shiba, now free of her grasp, advanced instead of retreating. His claws drove into her abdomen from both sides, and he sank his teeth into her neck. Rip! A large chunk of flesh tore free. Shiba tossed his head back and swallowed it, then lunged to bite once more. Now transformed into a 3-meter-tall raging beast, he savaged the demonic woman relentlessly. So this is the combat style of the beastkin. Fan Kuan watched, a chill running down his spine. Immense strength, formidable defenses, and the ability to unleash a power-up in crisis. Aside from mediocre speed, he possessed almost no weaknesses. If he ever fought Shiba later, he must avoid close quarters at all costs. Still, once this cataclysm ended, if he obtained 6-star essence blood, he ought to reach a similar level. He only wondered how one awakened an inborn battle art. Fan Kuan thought the demonic woman would perish beneath Shiba's assault, yet the tide shifted. A swirling crimson glow emerged in her remaining eye. The instant Shiba met her gaze, he froze, his mind gone blank. Watching from the edge of the stone platform, Fan Kuan spotted the danger at once. He raised his spear and thrust toward her uninjured eye. But in the brief window Shiba stood immobilized, the demonic woman wrenched her body free from his claws and stepped back, evading Fan Kuan's attack. Having missed his strike, Fan Kuan grabbed Shiba by the shoulder and dragged him off the stone platform. Released from the direct pressure of her gaze, Shiba snapped out of his stupor. He glanced at Fan Kuan and spoke in a low voice. Thank you. Fan Kuan was about to reply that they were allies, but a shrill scream cut him off. Both he and Shiba turned toward the far end of the cavern in surprise. The demonic woman's furious shriek echoed. The stone wall behind the platform rumbled and slowly sank, revealing an even larger cavern. Thousands of varying-sized black eggs carpeted the ground. Stirred by her cry, some eggs expanded and contracted rapidly, while others exuded wispy gray-black currents that streamed toward the demonic woman. As the gray mist entered her body, her wounds knit closed. One after another, the eggs burst open, and ghost brides climbed out. Fan Kuan glanced at Shiba. The effect of his inborn battle art had faded. He had reverted to human form, and his aura visibly weakened. This is bad. Fan Kuan wanted to join Shiba to slay the demonic woman, yet the odds were stacked against them. We withdraw, he said grimly. Shiba stared at the charging ghost brides, then at the still recovering demonic woman. Reluctance thickened his tone. I'm on the verge of advancing. I'll hold these minions off. You strike her down. Wait, he wants me to march to my death. Fan Kuan blinked, but did not refuse outright. Are you advancing to the next major realm? Shiba shook his head. 9th tier of the initiate realm. That hardly matters. Fan Kuan fought the urge to jab him with the spear. Her blood-eye mind control is deadly. If she traps me and drains my vital energy, she might break free entirely today. Shiba fixed him with a sharp stare. Where is your inborn battle art? Now is not the time for testing me. Fan Kuan met his gaze unflinchingly. I am only 7th tier initiate. Even if I unleashed my battle art, I could not kill her. 7th tier. Confusion flickered across Shiba's face, yet he voiced no doubt. He turned to the demonic woman atop the platform, guarded by over 20 ghost brides, and growled in frustration. We retreat for today. The two fled the underground cavern beneath the demonic woman's icy stare. Outside the cave entrance, Shiba looked squarely at Fan Kuan. You saved me this time, so you win. But I will return the day after tomorrow, and we will settle our score then. The day after tomorrow, does his battle art require a full day of cooldown? Fan Kuan did not press for details and nodded. I will be ready whenever you come. After walking some distance beyond the valley gate, Shiba glanced back. Seeing Fan Kuan not following, he exhaled quietly. His complexion instantly paled, and he coughed up blood. Dissension of the Sacred Bear was the inborn battle art Shiba awakened upon evolving his 7-star bloodline on the Azeroth continent. It was a royal bear clan secret art, a mighty physical combat technique comparable to 8-star or even 9-star skills. The art unlocked the primal rage of the bear kin, yet it inflicted terrible harm to the user's body. Shiba felt as though countless blades sliced through his insides. He had forced himself to maintain his composure and walk out of the cavern after using the art. Even if he had broken through to 9th tier, he could not continue. He had only wanted to test Fan Kuan. Shi Kuan wondered why Fan Kuan had refused to activate his inborn battle art when they stood a chance to kill the demonic woman together. A royal warrior's instincts told him something was off. Was he truly too weak, or was there another reason? No matter. He knew the location of Fan Kuen's cave dwelling. He could probe him again next time. Shiba endured searing internal pain and stumbled toward his own abode. Fan Kuen scaled the mountainside with repeated surge/dashes. He crouched behind a massive boulder and watched Shiba limp away from the valley. Conflict churned within him. Should he strike now and kill him while he is vulnerable? Fan Kuen knew that by withholding his inborn battle art when they fought, he had planted suspicion in Shiba's mind. It was akin to a 2-versus-1 battle where one ally held back their ultimate ability while the other fought hard. That doubt would linger in Shiba's thoughts. He would definitely test Fan Kuen again when they met. Taking Shiba out in his weakened state would be the optimal choice. But after fighting alongside him today, Fan Kuen saw past Shiba's rough exterior. The bearkin warrior was extremely cunning, not a simple-minded brute, more like a human-faced bear that stood upright in morning mist to trick passersby. His formidable strength and defenses also filled Fan Kuen with caution. After a moment of deliberation, Fan Kuen resolved to focus on cultivation first. Threats were not limited to Shiba. A mutually destructive fight would set back his progress. That underground demonic creature would break free in another day. From her hatred as they fled, she would come for revenge. If she attacked at night while Fan Kuen was alone, he would have no choice but to run. Fan Kuen opened his status panel. He still needed more than 10,000 vital energy to reach the maximum capacity for 8th tier. He would have to push himself to the limit. On the 10th day of the cataclysm, he must advance to the next major realm. He rested on the mountainside for a while to replenish his spiritual power. Confirming Shiba had not circled back to ambush him, Fan Kuen leaped down the cliff and re-entered the underground cavern. In Yongaseo, Fan Kuen greeted the demonic woman casually. Her wounds had fully healed. Hundreds of monsters now filled the cavern. No low-level corpses remained, nor any ghost children or mantis beasts. Every creature in sight was a black-furred ape or a ghost bride. The demonic woman tilted her head, cold eyes locking onto Fan Kuen. Have you returned alone to die? There is no need to speak of death so readily. It makes our dealings awkward, Fan Kuen said as he strolled forward, waving a hand. Neighbors ought to visit one another often. The demonic woman gestured toward the piles of monster remains and sneered. Is this how you choose to visit? Fan Kuen stroked his jaw. I do apologize. I have targets I must eliminate, requirements I need to fulfill. A smile tugged at the demonic woman's lips. You hunt these creatures to harvest vital energy, do you not? Fan Kuen's eyes lit up. This demonic woman was fundamentally different from the monsters under her command. She understood how outsiders gained power through vital energy. Senior, Fan Kuen wore a warm smile. I believe we are far more alike. Could you share some of your history with me? The demonic woman stood tall and crooked a finger at him. Come up here, and we can talk properly. Fan Kuen shook his head. I'll stay down here. Where I come from, teachers speak from the platform, and students listen below. We cannot break that custom. You are afraid. Contempt filled her voice. Of course I am. I fear you might lose control of your blood-eye power and finish me off. Humph. If you dare not climb up, you will harvest no more vital energy. With that, she tilted her head back and let out a sharp cry. All the monsters retreated into the cavern behind the stone platform. As the stone wall slowly rose back into place, Fan Kuen gripped the serpent spear. He sighed. If you refuse to cooperate, do not blame me for destroying your base. Golden light flashed beneath his feet. In the next instant, Fan Kuen thrust his spear at the stone platform's foundation. Earlier, when retrieving the serpent spear, he had noticed a slab of transparent crystal below. Through it, he spotted a unique massive black egg. Inside the egg was encased a beastkin, a scene nearly identical to when he had rescued the young fox spirit. He had kept quiet then, planning to investigate after killing the demonic woman. Now, however, he intended to dig that egg out first. Boom. A single strike sent spiderweb cracks spreading across the stone below the platform. The demonic woman screamed in rage. What are you trying to do? Fan Kuen did not pause, nor did he dare meet her gaze closely. Golden light flickered repeatedly as he circled the platform, striking non-stop. Enough! After shouting futilely from the platform, she reopened the rear wall. Black-furred apes and ghost brides surged out, snarling and ready for battle. The combination of black-furred apes and ghost brides pressed Fan Kuen hard. The apes boasted high defense and abundant vitality, while the ghost brides struck swiftly and fiercely. Unlike Shiba, Fan Kuen lacked overwhelming vital energy to trade blows head-on. He fought using agile movement, evading and striking as he circled through the cavern. He only filled his 8th tier vital energy limit as dusk neared. He bid farewell to the demonic woman and headed back to his cave. Holding 2 rabbits he caught along the way, Fan Kuan stepped inside his dwelling. Lu Yunxi, the young fox spirit, rushed out upon hearing his footsteps. "You're back, my lord." Her voice called out, yet her gaze remained fixed on the rabbits. Fan Kuan handed the rabbits to her and tugged her soft pointed ears. "Did you eat well today?" "I did," Lu Yunxi replied brightly. "Sister Ian prepared spirit rice and peaches for me." Only those 2 dishes again." Fan Kuan suddenly realized their cave's food options were quite limited. "Yunxi, can you cook?" Fan Kuan asked casually. "I can." Lu Yunxi set the rabbits down on the ground. "Really? What dishes do you know how to make?" Fan Kuan was surprised. Could a 6-year-old child cook? He had spent all 18 years of his own life buried in studying. "Lots of things." Lu Yunxi lifted her small head. "Roast chicken, grilled fish, roast pork, roast lamb. I can make all of them." Huh, truly a long list. Then again, it made sense for beastkin to excel at roasting food. "How about this?" Fan Kuan crouched and smiled. "We'll roast these rabbits tonight." "No, my lord." Lu Yunxi hugged the rabbits tightly and blinked her eyes pleadingly. "Can we spare the bunnies?" "Very well. Tomorrow I will hunt a wild boar." "Wonderful. Roast pork is my favorite," Lu Yunxi cheered. "Cute bunnies get mercy, but boars do not." Fan Kuan thought silently. They chatted briefly before Fan Kuan sent the fox spirit off to play. He stored the light orbs he collected that day in the library chamber and immediately began cultivating his spiritual power. Dawn broke on the 12th day of the cataclysm. Fan Kuan finally obtained a usable cultivation manual. 6-star battle art, soul-harrowing demon tone. The eerie sound disturbs the soul and clouds the mind. Nice. He finally acquired an ability focused on spiritual attacks. If he unleashed this at close range, his opponents would lose all sense of direction. He continued his cultivation. By noon, ripples of energy emanated from the spirit chamber. He had broken through. Bloodline. Human royal. Fused bloodline. Heavenly hound. Realm. 9th tier initiate. Innate talent. 7-star. Vital energy aptitude. 98. Spiritual power aptitude. 108. Vital energy. 50229/75343. Spiritual power. 55356/83034. Fan Kuan stared at his status values and sank into thought. For the first time, he realized that higher capacity limits could become a burden. Cultivating spiritual power alone now required an entire day. To fill the over 20,000 missing vital energy, even with his current combat strength, he would need to hunt non-stop in the underground cavern for 5 to 6 hours. This cannot continue. Tomorrow, Shiba might come to challenge him under the pretense of a spar. He would probe whether Fan Kuan possessed an inborn battle art. And when night fell, the demonic woman would break free from the underground cavern. Fan Kuan pressed his lips together, weighed down by mounting pressure. Though he had advanced to the 9th tier of the initiation realm, his combat strength was still insufficient to deal with the looming crisis tomorrow. Especially tomorrow night, Fan Kuan could scarcely imagine the scene. Once darkness fell, the demonic woman would lead hordes of decaying corpses to smash open the gates of his cavern dwelling. No, he could not lose this cavern. It was the foundation upon which he would rise to become a powerhouse. Setting aside external assets such as the spirit cultivation chamber and spirit crystal mines, the advancement of his bloodline alone was something he could never abandon. He had to break through to the next realm before tomorrow night arrived. His cultivation rhythm needed to change. Since he could not speed up his spiritual energy cultivation, he would focus on refining his physical vitality instead. It seemed he had no choice but to venture out tonight. Fan Kuan had tried hunting decaying corpses after dark before, yet he had been forced to retreat the moment he stepped outside, overwhelmed by the mindless ferocity of the undead. Moreover, there had been no regional announcement regarding advancement to the next major realm. That meant even royal clans of the beast race dared not hunt after nightfall. Otherwise, they would have long gathered enough physical vitality to break through. But now he had to take the risk. If he hesitated, he would face far greater danger tomorrow. Having made up his mind, Fan Kuan quickly finished his daily portion of spirit rice and resumed his spiritual energy cultivation. On the other side, after a full night of recovery aided by healing potions, Shiba had finally stabilized the injuries sustained from unleashing his innate battle skill. Though his body still felt weak, he could engage in low-intensity combat without issue. He was nearly at the 9th tier. His cultivation could not pause. He, Shiba, would be the first in the region to advance to the next realm. Stepping out of his cavern, Shiba began searching for decaying corpses at a swift pace. Shortly after noon, Shiba completed his breakthrough. Bloodline. Dark Golden Bear Royal Clan. Realm. Initiation Realm 9th Tier. Innate Talent. 7 stars. Vitality Aptitude. 154. Spirit Energy Aptitude. 10. Vitality. 78937/118405. Spirit Energy. 5125/7688. He needed 40,000 vitality points to advance. He had to gather enough before tomorrow night descended. Shiba clenched his fist and continued hunting decaying corpses. Shortly after midnight, the 13th day of the Doomsday arrived. A system notification cut through Fan Kuen's cultivation. Regional announcement. Today marks the 10th day of the decaying corpse catastrophe. Once night falls, decaying corpses will grow abnormally active. They will drastically raise the odds they will launch assaults on shelters. Shelters with higher cosmic rank will endure fiercer attacks. Meanwhile, the dark sorceress dwelling on the first layer of the decaying corpse cavern will break free tonight. Damn it, that meant he would bear the brunt of the assault. Fan Kuen's expression turned grave as he read the regional message, and the last trace of hesitation in his heart vanished entirely. Xiaoyin, does my cavern possess an extremely high cosmic rank? Fan Kuen asked, already knowing the answer. Master, Xiaoyin bowed slightly. Your cavern holds the highest tier of cosmic rank in this world. Highest tier in the world. Though Fan Kuen had suspected as much, the revelation still stunned him. It made sense, after all. If it could absorb all manner of cosmic attributes, it was only natural it ranked supreme. Yet this supreme rank spelled huge trouble for him tonight. A sudden thought struck Fan Kuen. There was only his cavern within this canyon. Did that mean? He quickly pressed for confirmation. Xiaoyin, according to the regional notice, will every decaying corpse in the canyon march to attack me tonight? Xiao Yin's gentle expression faded, replaced by solemnity. Yes, master. Furthermore, the incoming horde may not be limited to the corpses within the canyon. What did that mean? Fan Kuen pondered briefly. There are more decaying corpse caverns outside the canyon. Will those corpses also converge here? Xiaoyin nodded firmly. Great. So every decaying corpse for miles around would come knocking. It stood to reason. The nearest rival dwelling belonged to Shiba, and his cavern held no cosmic rank at all. In the end, all danger would circle back to him. Tonight, he would face more than just the monster lurking within the canyon. Well, fighting one powerful foe was no different from fighting two. He had nothing to fear. Fan Kuen could not help envying Shiba. The bear would likely spend the night relaxed, watching the regional chat and enjoying the spectacle. No more distractions. Without breaking through to the next major realm, asking further questions would accomplish nothing. Fan Kuen feared he might lose his resolve if he learned more grim details. He opened his status panel and glanced at his 67,866 spirit energy points, muttering to himself. It ought to be enough for tonight's intense battle. Stepping out of the spirit cultivation chamber, he paused at the bedroom doorway and glanced at the slumbering little fox. Then he opened the cavern gate and walked outside. Roar! The moment he stepped out, the howls of decaying corpses echoed across the entire canyon. If sunlight suppressed the decaying corpses during the day, then the moonlight roused them into a frenzy. Beneath the pale moon, the undead shed their daytime lethargy. Scarlet glints burned in their eyes as they roamed every corner of the canyon. They chased any living creature they spotted. Fan Kuen scanned his surroundings. All wild animals had fled to the higher mountain slopes, while the decaying corpses gathered across the flat ground at the foot of the mountains. He waved his hand and obliterated the wandering, decaying hounds outside his cavern. Golden light flickered beneath his feet as he leaped down from the stone platform onto the wide stretch of grassland. The decaying corpses roaming the canyon spotted a living target and swarmed toward him from every direction. Fan Kuen held the serpent spear reversed, the violet scale armor draped over his body, his gaze icy as he surveyed his surroundings. Tonight, he would let these monsters witness the true strength of a human prodigy. The serpent spear swept wide, infused with spirit energy and bolstered by Fan Kuen's massive vitality exceeding 50,000. Every decaying corpse touched by the weapon burst into chunks of flesh. The weakest undead roaming the canyon were decaying hounds. Wraith children and mantis fiends formed the bulk of the horde. This suited Fan Kuen perfectly. Though these monsters yielded modest vitality, there were endless numbers of them. The battle instantly erupted into chaos. Thousands of decaying corpses howled and charged toward him. One sweep of his spear shattered a line of wraith children, only for mantis fiends to surge forward, slashing with their bladed forelimbs. Worsening matters, empowered by the night, These minor bosses that normally could not pierce his defenses now managed to carve a shallow gash across his forehead. Monsters pressed in from all sides, and Fan Kuan also had to evade the leaping blade strikes descending from above. Beneath the ghostly pale moonlight, the endless decaying corpses formed a black tide, throwing themselves at him without hesitation. Fan Kuan wielded his spear, unleashing surges of spirit energy to scatter waves of undead. The pile of corpses beside him grew taller as the battle dragged on, yet it did nothing to deter the horde. They trampled the bodies of their fallen kin and charged again and again. As combat turbulence intensified, black-furred apes and ghost brides joined the fray. Even with nearly 60,000 vitality, Fan Kuan could not defeat either monster with a single strike. He was forced to constantly shift his position to avoid prolonged clashes against them, prioritizing hunting wraith children and mantis fiends to gather vitality. Evading the black-furred apes proved simple enough, but the ghost brides were far more troublesome. They let out piercing wails as they pursued him, their claws aimed straight for his skull, their crimson robes streaking through the darkness like streaks of blood. Annoying pests. Fan Kuan unleashed soul-devouring demonic resonance at an oncoming ghost bride. The monster froze in place, and Fan Kuan drove his spear straight through its mouth to land the killing blow. Not bad. The skill worked well, though it drained a great deal of spirit energy. Fan Kuan moved constantly through the canyon, leaving trails of mangled undead in his wake. Dark gray streams of energy rising from fallen corpses flowed steadily into his body. Still, he could not sustain combat like this for long. It was not a lack of vitality or spirit energy, but the rapid exhaustion of his mental focus. During this high-intensity fight, he swung his spear every second while dodging claws and mantis blades. Even with careful evasion, more than a dozen bleeding gashes crisscrossed his legs and face. After over 2 hours of combat, Fan Kuan had gathered sufficient vitality. He began moving uphill. The tide of undead followed his ascent onto the mountain slope. Decaying hounds barked on the periphery. Wraith children hunched forward in pursuit. Mantis fiends leaped to slash at him, and ghost brides shrieked, determined to claim his life. Only the black-furred apes held back from the chase, standing at the bottom of the slope and roaring as if cheering the horde onward. Fan Kuan lured the undead tide to a hill far from his cavern. Holding nothing back, he unleashed the startling swift battle skill. He blinked repeatedly to break away from pursuit. He left the horde howling futilely toward the moon. The cavern stone gate sealed shut. Fan Kuan let out a long breath, overcome with relief. This was far beyond grueling. Thankfully, he had turned back during his previous nighttime attempt. Otherwise, he would have perished long ago. Even Shiba at peak strength would be worn down to death by this horde without a way to escape quickly. He tossed an old sow he had captured atop the mountain into the beast pen. Glancing at his blood-stained, wounded body, Fan Kuan exchanged a spirit spring from the spirit crystal shop and plunged into the water. After washing clean, Fan Kuan climbed naked from the spring. He took the towel Xiaoyin handed him and spoke. Will there be a regional announcement for the first person to advance to the next major realm? Xiaoyin lowered her eyes. Yes, master. Has today's secret scripture appeared? It has. Xiaoyin stretched out her hand, presenting a glowing orb. 6-star battle skill, Radiant Flames. In the name of light, burn all creation. Radiant Flames. Fan Kuan suddenly recalled the dark spirit energy spear he had obtained a few days prior. He wondered what the combination of light and flame meant for this skill. Xiaoyin, are there different types of spirit energy? Fan Kuan asked. Xiaoyin nodded. Yes, master. 7 varieties of spirit energy exist between heaven and earth. Light, darkness, metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. So many. Fan Kuan wiped his head with the towel. Why have I never sensed any distinction during my daily cultivation? Xiaoyin smiled softly. Only upon reaching the next major realm, the transcendent mortal realm, will true cultivation begin. Your physical body will undergo another transformation, growing powerful enough to dwarf ordinary mortals. Your soul will evolve into a divine soul, granting you divine soul power. You will perceive the different varieties of spirit energy. Moreover, you will be able to discern another creature's race through your divine soul. So the next realm was called the Transcendent Mortal Realm, Fan Kuan noted silently. Wait, if divine souls could reveal one's race, there was no point maintaining his disguise. Are there battle skills capable of masking one's racial aura? Fan Kuan asked urgently. Xiaoyin shook her head gently. Master, you need not worry over this matter. What? Xiaoyin met Fan Kuan's gaze, bright light swirling in her eyes. Beastkin will only detect the bloodline you have fused within yourself. A pleasant surprise. But another thought surfaced in Fan Kuen's mind. Then human cultivators who see me will also believe I am a beastkin. Fan Kuen pictured his parents meeting him. Kuener, your mother and I have missed you terribly. Then they would step back in shock. Kuener, how have you turned into a beast? That would be an enormous price to pay. A faint smile tugged at Xiao Yin's lips, as if she could read Fan Kuen's thoughts. She continued, when humans lay eyes on you, they will perceive you as a human. What? That makes no sense. Fan Kuen stared in confusion. How is that possible? Xiao Yin tilted her gaze slightly upward. It is a law of heaven. I cannot speak further. Fan Kuen glanced up toward the cavern ceiling. Very well. The will of heaven held the final say. Fan Kuen resumed closed-door cultivation. By afternoon, swirling misty spirit energy gathered within the cultivation chamber. It formed a vortex centered at Fan Kuen's dantian. His spirit energy had broken past the 9th tier limit. A golden oval sphere hovered above his forehead, within his spirit platform. As spirit energy continuously poured into it, the sphere slowly dissolved, reshaping into a creature with a cheilant's body and a hound's head. Beside the beast stood an emperor clad in sun and moon imperial robes and a flat celestial crown, holding a long sword, bearing unmatched bearing. At the same time, Fan Kuen's body underwent transformation, nourished by surging spirit energy. After a long while, Fan Kuen's tightly shut eyes flew open, a sharp glint flashing in his pupils. Transcendent mortal realm. The instant he advanced, Fan Kuen sensed a shift in the world around him. The previously undifferentiated spirit energy split into distinct attributes. Blazing light energy, void-like darkness energy, searing fire energy, clear water energy, sharp metal energy. And then he sensed no more. Xiao Yin. Fan Kuen began to speak, but the cavern's broadcast cut him off. Regional announcement. Cultivator Fan Kuen has successfully advanced to Transcendent Mortal Realm 1st tier. He is the first cultivator in the region to reach the Transcendent Mortal Realm. Reward, 6-star Spirit Weapon, Dawn-Piercing Spear. The regional chat erupted the moment the announcement appeared. It's Lord Fan Kuen again. Truly formidable, a role model for all beastkin. Lord Fan Kuen belongs to our Fox clan. All hail Lord Fan Kuen. All hail the Fox clan. I bow to Lord Fan Kuen. He has reached Transcendent Mortal Realm, while I am only at Initiation Realm 5th tier. What kind of divine treasure is a 6-star spirit weapon? I only own a 1-star mountain cleaver blade. Row of the Fire Fox clan greets you, Lord. Your prowess is unmatched. May of the White Fox clan greets you, Lord. Your prowess is unmatched. Xin of the Silver Fox clan greets you, Lord. Your prowess is unmatched. The ordinary beastkin were swept up in fervent admiration, yet the royal clans of the region reacted far differently. Upon seeing the announcement, every royal slammed their fist into whatever lay nearby. Decaying corpse heads, stone tables, giant trees, even half-eaten carcasses. All royal clans in the region had advanced to Initiation Realm 8th or 9th tier, striving toward the Transcendent Mortal Realm. Once again, Fan Kuen of the Nine-Tailed Sky Fox clan had snatched the first breakthrough. Shiba crushed a mantis fiend's skull in his palm and roared in rage. Crafty Fox, Ling Chun sat quietly within his cultivation chamber, murmuring. Nine-Tailed Sky Fox clan. Immersed in cultivation, Fan Kuen had nearly forgotten about regional announcements. Joy lit his face as he retrieved his reward. Dawn-Piercing Spear, compatible with Light Spirit Energy. Infusing Light Spirit Energy grants a 200% attack boost. A magnificent spear. A 200% damage increase with Light Spirit Energy. His earlier 4-star Serpent Spear only offered a 50% boost to Dark Spirit Energy. The gap between a 4-star and 6-star weapon was astronomical. Moreover, Light Spirit Energy might hold an advantage against the Dark Sorceress beneath the earth. He would test the spear against her later. Fan Kuen recalled his earlier question. Xiao Yin, why can I only sense 5 types of spirit energy? I cannot detect earth or wood spirit energy. Master, human cultivators with 7-star innate talent can command 5 varieties of spirit energy. I see. The number of controllable spirit elements is tied to innate talent. This world truly hinges on natural talent. Fan Kuen brushed his eyebrow with his thumb. How many spirit energy varieties can beastkin with 7-star talent command? Master, depending on race and individual talent, they can wield between 2 and 4 varieties. Fan Kuen fell into thought. Is this the disparity between racial talents? It is, Master. The strength of beastkin royal clans lies in their formidable physical bodies and innate battle skills. Without shape transformation and spirit ascension, even after advancing to the Transcendent Mortal Realm, They can only manipulate a single type of innate spirit energy. Fan Kun was about to ask whether attribute spirit energy boosted battle skills when Xiaoyin spoke ahead of him. The more varieties of attribute spirit energy you command, the greater your advantage when unleashing battle skills. Master, try infusing attribute spirit energy into your techniques. Can she read minds? Fan Kun shot Xiaoyin a glance. He swung his hand and unleashed radiant flames using ordinary spirit energy. A crescent blade materialized, carving a crack half a meter wide into the stone wall. He then channeled light and fire spirit energy into the battle skill. A blazing, radiant light will streaked forward. Boom. An impact crater 2 meters wide exploded into the rock face. Incredible. The difference was staggering. Fan Kun quickly grasped the mechanics of attribute spirit energy. Spirit energy permeated all of heaven and earth, and any cultivator could refine and absorb it. Before reaching the transcendent mortal realm, cultivators could only wield crude, undifferentiated spirit energy. After advancing to the transcendent mortal realm, cultivators could draw attribute spirit energy from the ambient flow based on the rank of their innate talent, merging it with battle skills to unleash far greater power. The more attribute types one could access, the more skills they could strengthen. Judging by this, Beastkin would gradually fall behind in the later stages. They were powerhouses in the early game, while humans possessed far higher ceilings. Of course, this only applied to elite human prodigies. Humans with low star talent could command very few spirit energy varieties as well. Fan Kun opened his status panel. Bloodline, Human Royal, Fused Bloodline, Heavenly Ho Clan, Realm, Transcendent Mortal Realm First Tier, Innate Talent, 7 stars, Vitality Aptitude, 98, Spirit Energy Aptitude, 108, Vitality, 75343/226029, Spirit Energy, 83034/249102, Divine Soul, Divine Sovereign Ling, Heavenly Ho, Controlled, Light Command, Controlled, Darkness Perception, Controlled, Metal Perception, Controlled, Fire Perception, Controlled, Water Perception. His attribute caps had tripled, but that meant advancing would grow far slower. He needed 160,000 spirit energy to level up. Continuous closed-door meditation would take a full 7 days. Fan Kun groaned. He could already envision a bleak future of endless solitary cultivation within his cavern for decades, even centuries. Noticing the pained look on Fan Kun's face, Xiaoyin spoke. Master, upon advancing to the transcendent mortal realm, your newly awakened divine soul allows you to absorb stray spirit energy released by slain monsters into your spirit platform, alongside the vitality you gain. Right. This breakthrough granted him not only the ability to sense attribute spirit energy, but also a divine soul. Fan Kun stared at the entry on his panel. Divine Sovereign Ling, Heavenly Ho. The Heavenly Hound was easy enough to understand. It was the hound residing within his spirit platform, forged when he fused foreign bloodlines. But what of the Heavenly Spirit Sovereign? Judging by appearances, it took human form. Fan Kun lifted his head and looked toward Xiaoyin, who met his gaze at the very same moment. I'm just watching, not saying a word. Can you truly know what I'm thinking? Sure enough, Xiaoyin's clear, ethereal voice drifted over. Master, the Heavenly Spirit Sovereign is your innate title as a human. It is the incarnation of your soul. Its emergence elevated your command over light spiritual energy from mere perception to spirit mastery. Setting aside the Heavenly Spirit Sovereign for now, Fan Kun spoke. Xiaoyin, can you really sense every thought in my heart? Xiaoyin smiled gently. Master, I am your manner spirit. Our bloodlines are intertwined. Intertwined bloodlines, huh? Does that make you some long-lost sister from another world? It feels like I have zero privacy around you. Is this some combat art? Fan Kun could only think of that explanation. Xiaoyin shook her head. It is more accurately an innate talent belonging to manner spirits. Good grief, this world is absurd. Even manner spirits possess innate talents. Seeing Xiaoyin unwilling to elaborate on her own abilities, Fan Kun shifted to questions she could answer. I started out as a lowly cultivator with merely 1-star talent. So how did I come to possess a soul such as the Heavenly Spirit Sovereign? Xiaoyin's expression turned solemn. Master, the 1-star rank belongs to your past. You are now a 7-star human prodigy, among the peak talents of humanity. Still, my origins were humble. Very well, all must be the will of fate. What exactly is a human's innate title? Fan Kun asked. To answer you, Master, it is the status bestowed upon you by heaven and earth among trillions of humans. It is authority sanctioned by the heavens. Much like the Dark Gold Bear clan stands atop all bears, and the nine-tailed Heavenly Fox clan rules the fox kind. You are the sovereign of humanity. Oh, I get it now. Simply put, it means I stand far above others. Beyond granting finer control over light's spiritual energy, what other special powers does the Heavenly Spirit's sovereign soul hold? Fan Kuan thought this soul form far outshone the Heavenly Hound. Master, the Heavenly Spirit Sovereign's remaining abilities will awaken once you advance to the Spirit Radiance realm. There you go, speaking in riddles again. Is Spirit Radiance realm the next major cultivation tier? The next major tier is Domain Formation realm. Spirit Radiance realm is the fourth great realm, so those powers remain inaccessible for the time being. Fan Kuan stretched his limbs. It was time to venture outside. With a flash, he teleported to the livestock enclosure. Greetings, Lord. The young fox girl was indeed here. Fan Kuan pointed at the sow inside the pen. I'm heading out for a while. Once we clear out all the monsters tonight, we'll roast this sow for a feast. Understood, Lord. At the mention of roasted meat, Lu Yunxi raised her hands excitedly in agreement. She then added, though I've noticed the two piglets seem extremely attached to this sow. Naturally, she was their mother. Almost at that exact moment, a regional announcement echoed across another stretch of land. Regional announcement. Cultivator Ling Shuang has successfully advanced to the first layer of Mortal Transcendence realm, becoming the first Mortal Transcendence cultivator in the region. Reward, 6-star Spirit Weapon, Streamcloud Sword. Once the announcement appeared, the weary survivors from Blue Star, baked beneath the blazing sun, instantly regained their spirits. Oh my goodness, it's Ling Shuang again. She's actually broken through to Mortal Transcendence. Goddess Ling Shuang is incredible. Please establish a faction soon. I, Zhang San, want to be your first follower. Another announcement featuring Goddess Ling Shuang. A word of caution, though, many scammers have been impersonating her in group chats these past few days. There is no real name verification here, so you will never track down fraudsters if swindled. Everyone stay vigilant. Curse those scammers. Even at the end of the world, they seek to deceive others. What sort of people would do such a thing? Fellow warriors, I dare not leave my shelter. How are you all raising your cultivation levels? You'll never progress hiding indoors. Haven't you read the group messages? Those above the third layer of initial realm can safely venture outdoors. The stronger the sunlight, the faster your physical body strengthens. Don't spread incomplete advice. You'll get people killed. Everything hinges on whether your body can endure it. Some can stay outside for 10 hours straight, while others collapse after 30 minutes under the sun. Listen up, youngsters. Your old grandpa here is 88 years old and just broke through to the 5th layer of initial realm. I can withstand 5 hours of sunlight each day. Who are you calling youngsters, old man? Is reaching 5th layer at 88 something to boast about? Yesterday I saw a 93-year-old elder sprinting across the grasslands carrying a full-grown goat. I'm curious how many hours Goddess Ling Shuang spends cultivating under the sun daily. Does no one track cultivation progress? She couldn't have reached mortal transcendence this quickly without spending entire days exposed to sunlight. Same here. I cultivate outdoors from dawn till dusk. Fan Tianji skimmed through the chat logs and opened a private message. Fan Tianji, old girl, have you advanced today? Less than a minute passed before Ningxia replied. Ningxia, I broke through to the 7th layer an hour ago. Fan Tianji, impressive. I'd say you're nearly comparable to Ling Shuang. Ningxia, there's still an entire major realm separating us. Fan Tianji, old girl, what star rank do you think Ling Shuang's talent holds? Even with 6-star talent, you lag behind her. Ningxia, at the very least 7-star. No lesser talent could achieve such rapid progress. Fan Tianji, heavens above. 7-star or higher, that could mean 8-star, even 9-star. Ningxia, truly a peerless human prodigy. I hope Kuan reaches that standard too. Fan Tianji, don't worry. Kuan has always been outstanding. He will surpass all of us. I wager at minimum 7-star talent. Worst case, he'll inherit your 6-star rank. He'll never end up like me, a useless 1-star talent. Ningxia, even with 1-star talent, one must persevere. Don't keep using talent as an excuse. How long did you spend cultivating in the sun today? Fan Tianji, not long. I nearly lost my life out there. Ningxia, have you advanced to the 3rd layer? Fan Tianji, only halfway to the 2nd layer. Amid sand-swept wastelands stood a massive manor, divided into numerous zones with simple, grand architecture. Ling Shuang sat cross-legged in one courtyard, calm and composed. The scorching heat pouring down from 10 suns overhead seemed to lose all power before her. Violent, swirling gales merely brushed gently against her delicate features. Energy emanating from the 10 suns transformed into heavenly power, continuously boosting her vitality and spiritual energy. She glanced down at her status panel. Bloodline, Human Royal, Realm. First layer of mortal transcendence, Talent. 8-star, Vitality Aptitude. 15, Spirit Aptitude. 162, Vitality. 11533/34599, Spiritual Energy. 1245556/373669, Soul, Luo Shun. Affinity Mastery, Light Perception, Affinity Mastery, Metal Perception, Affinity Mastery, Wood Perception, Affinity Mastery, Fire Perception, Affinity Mastery, Water Spirit Mastery, Affinity Mastery, Earth Perception. Luo Shun. Ling Shuang parted her lips and whispered the name softly. Fan Kuan stepped out of the manor. The crimson glow of the setting dusk sun spilled across the valley, dyeing everything scarlet. Standing atop a stone platform identical to the Lion King's, Fan Kuan spread his arms and recited, "Beneath the westward sinking sun, the hour of battle draws near." Surging power coursed through his body. He intended to eliminate the dark female demon lurking within the valley before night fell. Once darkness arrived, multiple boss monsters might march toward his grounds alongside their minions. Furthermore, ordinary boss monsters would receive a power boost after sunset. That demon, whose looks rivaled renowned beauties, might undergo a drastic power surge once night came. The Phantom Rush combat art now covered far greater distances. It consumed more spiritual energy, yet Fan Kuan no longer worried about energy shortages. After several flickering dashes, he reached the underground cavern. The cave behind the female demon stood open. Countless giant eggs that once filled the cavern had all hatched. Thousands upon thousands of minor monsters crowded the cavern, ready to strike. Fan Kuan's heart skipped a beat. He had arrived just in time. Once strengthened by nightfall, fighting them would prove far more difficult. His gaze swept past the horde of minor monsters before the plaza and settled on the dark female demon shrouded in black flames. Her slender eyes locked onto Fan Kuan. The playful ease from their previous encounter was gone, replaced by heavy wariness. Man and demon stared at each other from afar for several seconds. Then golden light burst forth. Wreathed in light spiritual energy, the dawn spear blazed brilliantly, its tip aimed straight at the demon's mouth. The dark female demon frowned and swatted at the spear shaft, but she underestimated Fan Kuan's growth. A casual swat that would have deflected this attack days ago now only nudged the spearhead slightly off course. She jerked her head to dodge. The sharp edge sliced across her cheek, leaving a bleeding gash. Ah! A shrill cry tore from her throat. Every monster inside the cavern flew into a berserk rage, shouting and screaming whenever trouble arises. Fan Kuan ignored the ghost brides charging onto the stone platform. He shifted constantly, focusing all his thrusts on the female demon. Trapped upon the platform, the dark female demon could only twist and dodge his strikes. Though swift, she could not outpace the Phantom Rush technique. As time dragged on, fresh wounds opened across her body. The light spiritual energy coating the spear corroded her injuries, blocking her ability to drain vitality from other monsters to heal. The demon's counterattacks grew weaker, yet her screams grew sharper and more frantic. When Fan Kuan thrust his spear toward her face once more, twin vortexes swirled within her crimson eyes. Fan Kuan unleashed Soul Devourer Resonance. The dark female demon's gaze blurred, and her skill was abruptly interrupted. Too long of a wind-up for your ability, miss. A smirk tugged at Fan Kuan's lips, and he drove the spear straight into her mouth. Light spiritual energy surged out through the spear tip. The dark female demon seized the shaft with both hands, straining to stop the spear from piercing her skull, terror flooding her eyes. Too late. Farewell. Fan Kuan unleashed Soul Devourer Resonance a second time. The demon's vision clouded, her grip loosened, and the spear pierced all the way through her head. Pitch-black currents drifted out of her body, alongside a wisp of dark spiritual energy rising from her spirit platform. Dark spiritual energy. This demon was only at the peak of the 9th layer of Initial Realm. Why did she wield a tribute-infused energy? Could this be another racial trait? Absorbing the demon's vitality and spiritual energy granted Fan Kuan nearly 3,000 vitality points and over 4,000 spiritual energy points. Meanwhile, the forms of the Heavenly Spirit Sovereign and Heavenly Hound within his spirit platform solidified ever so slightly. The dark female demon's death did not scare off the surrounding decaying corpses. They charged toward Fan Kuan even more frantically, roaring with unbridled fury, as if the fallen demon had been their guardian. Yet grief brought no increase in combat strength. Enhanced spirit insight fingers rained down from the stone platform, piercing transparent holes through the monsters' heads. The tide of battle had shifted. Fan Kuan would not wait for these creatures to come hunting him after dark. He intended to wipe every monster out before night descended. The slaughter began. Channeling Light's spiritual energy into spirit insight fingers, the darkness-wreathed, decaying corpses could not withstand his assaults. Even the toughest black-furred ape monsters fell after at most 2 strikes. Thousands of minor monsters within the underground cavern collapsed one after another beneath Fan Kuan's relentless assault. Glowing orbs of varying hues carpeted the cavern floor. If the other beast clans witnessed this sight, they would be utterly stunned. While they proceeded with extreme caution, hunting a single ghost child, Fan Kuan reaped monster lives as easily as harvesting wheat. Even a royal beast clansman like Shiba would have to fight with everything he had when facing ghost brides and black-furred apes. More than an hour later, every monster inside the cavern lay defeated. Harvested energy orbs piled mountain high inside his storage space.